Hello there, thank you for joining us for another episode of Canada's Movie and TV Hosers. I'm one of your hosts, Gregory Barrett, and with me is my co-host, Christine.
Hi.
Christine, would you like to introduce the star of our show?
This is Fluffy Kitty. She's behaving herself today. She was sunning herself all afternoon and she got some treats. Now she's have a little snooze.
Looks like she's posing for the camera there right now. This is not a show about cats. This show is about pop culture. We talk about all things in pop culture we love, new and old movies, different types of books, trailers, TV, streaming shows. Breaking down today's episode, we got 4 trailers we're going to go through. We got Saw X that we're going to talk about. And we got Loki Season 2. We got another trailer for Star Wars Ahsoka. They keep putting out lots of trailers for that. And then we got one from Netflix for Disenchantment, the final season. I think it's season 4, but I'll have to double check that.
Okay.
We got a bunch of reviews for the new movies this weekend. It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem. We also got Meg 2, The Trench, which I posted a reaction on my channel there yesterday. Christine's going to talk about The Witcher Season 3. We're also going to talk about the movie Talk to Me, aka Talk to the Hand, that came out last weekend. New horror movie. Futurama Season 11, Episode 2, that came out on Monday. We'll talk about Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Episode 9. We got some Chakotay's Odyssey. We're going to talk about another Tarantino movie, Kill Bill Volume 1. And we're starting a new segment where we're going through the Fast and Furious movies. And it's the Fast and Furious #1. The segment is called The Power of Family, starring Dominic Toretto, which is a great title.
So you say.
I got the time codes down in the description below so you can jump ahead and go back and forth to different segments if you want. And feel free to leave a comment on anything, and we always thank people for their nice comments, and for anyone who leaves us a thumbs up or a like, always helps us out. Now we're going to go into reviewing a trailer that we just watched, and it just came out I think yesterday, for Saw X. I didn't know there was that many Saw movies.
Is it Saw 10?
Or
is it Saw X?
I'm guessing. I don't know how many there are. I haven't seen all of them. I've only seen 1, maybe 2 of the Saw movies.
I saw at least one long time ago.
Well, watching this trailer, Jigsaw is back. He's still kicking. Apparently he's had cancer forever. So he's had cancer, he's dying, and he just wants to kill people. So he's got more people he's got to exact revenge on.
Okay.
He's got a lot of enemies, I guess. So
what thinks they're his enemies?
I don't know, because I've only seen a couple of them. What did you think of this trailer, and have you seen any of the Saw movies?
Yeah, I saw a Saw movie, at least one, like a long time ago.
I'm
thinking 15 plus years. I don't know. When did they start coming out? I saw it a long time ago.
There's one from 2003, one from 2004. I don't know if they're the right ones, though.
I saw at least one of them, 20 years ago or something. It was way over 15 years. That's all I know. Anyway, it's not my thing. I don't like horror movies. So I guess they do it well, but it's not my thing at all. So
let's have a look at the Saw franchise. Apparently,
into it. It's too violent. I don't like horror.
Saw's from 2004, 2005. We got Saw 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Saw 3D. Okay, so that's 7. Jigsaw, I guess, was Saw 8. Spiral was 9. So yeah, I guess 10. This is number 10.
It's not an X, it's 10.
Okay. They're not being made by James Wan anymore, even though he started this series. I think I saw Jigsaw. I don't know if I saw any others.
I saw probably the first one, for sure.
Did you enjoy it?
No, well, I don't like horror movies, but it was done well for a horror movie. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
I just don't like them.
I don't remember much about the Jigsaw movie that I saw. So am I excited for this? No. But it's coming out in September. Lots of stuff coming out in September because we're getting more trailers right now for stuff coming out in September. So I'll go check it out. Are you going to?
No. It's kind of like a really bad escape room.
Looks really good. Well, he's got a bunch of people tied up, and he makes one guy like do surgery on his head there.
A
He's
bunch
like,
of medical staff. We need our medical staff. Don't torture them. We're in a shortage right now.
I guess. Looks like a lot of body horror.
Yeah, that's not my thing at all.
Gruesome. You got all those saws. You gotta be chopping off body parts and limbs.
Never look at us all the same anymore.
Yeah. I'm not overly excited about this, but if anyone out there is excited for these Saw movies, someone's got to see them. They keep making them, right?
Well,
so they got to be making money.
Like horror movies.
Yeah. Well, that and horror movies are cheap to make, right?
Well, they have done it well, I suppose, in the past. I don't know. It's just not my thing. I won't be going to see it. It's not for me.
Hopefully I'll get a chance to check it out, although I didn't see that new Insidious movie that came out this past month. But yeah, I'll check it out and report back. I try and expose myself to a lot of different horror, scary movies and other movies that I wouldn't normally see. But if there's any big fans out there, let us know, what's the best Saw movie? Is it the first one? Was it Jigsaw? Is that the worst one? I don't know. Let us know your thoughts on the Saw franchise, and if you're excited to go see Saw X, let us know down in the comments below, please. Our next trailer is for Loki Season 2. Coming from Marvel and Disney+. What'd you think about this? Are you excited for this?
Yeah, I'll have to watch Season 1 again.
Yeah, me too.
I remember there was a train and I don't know. It was complicated.
Well, they were dealing with variances.
TVA. Yeah.
Time variances and the TVA.
Kind of complicated.
And then they met Kang, Jonathan Majors at the end.
He's a bad
Notice
guy.
how he's not in this trailer very much.
I saw him once.
You know what's happening with him right now in real life. He's got his own real life drama going on.
Oh, I don't know.
Because he was charged with, I believe it was assault.
Oh, gosh.
And he's sitting around waiting for his court date. So Disney and Marvel have to take a wait and see approach, meaning if the trial goes ahead, if the trial starts and it's dismissed, everything's good, right? But if it goes ahead, then his drama, they probably have to let him go and then recast.
He is in the trailer, just one little shot.
Yeah, because he has to be in it, but they're kind of downplaying the Jonathan Majors thing right now. So I don't have any opinion on that right now. Wait for the American legal system to do its thing and see what happens, though. But as for this trailer, what's his name? Kehu Kwan. Can't really pronounce that guy's name. He's in it. So that's a fun addition.
Yeah.
Now, I wasn't a big fan of the first season of Loki, and I'm not a big fan of really most of these Disney Plus shows.
I liked it.
But I do like the production on this. The TVA and their weird 1950s, 60s retro public service bureaucrat, how everything's old and breaking down and everything's dusty and it's just ancient, because in public service they don't replace anything, they just store it. You'll still have old VCRs and old overhead projectors, old cubicles, computers with 5.5-inch floppy disks, not just the 3.5-inch.
We don't have any computers at our office. I take one of those over no computer. Anyway. So
I really do enjoy the aesthetic. I mean, Owen Wilson was great in it.
I liked it. And it was a bit of a take. Some of the stuff was borrowed from Doctor Who.
Who was it that played
But it was really fun.
Sophia Di Martino.
But it was kind of complicated, and I gotta remember all that happened.
Yeah.
It was kind of complex.
Yeah, I remember, what's his name? Richard Grant was in it. I think he's back as well, because he's comic book, like, wacky Loki.
Right, and the boss was there, like, trying to keep everything
What, going. President Loki?
No, the boss of the TVA and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. There was lots. Anyway, we're gonna have to watch it again.
I'm thinking that I'm hoping that this will be the final season of it, and then they'll just go back to movies, because I don't know, with the comments that we're getting out of Disney from Bob Iger lately, if they're going to continue doing these Disney Plus shows. I don't think they should, and I've talked about that in previous episodes, but we'll see.
Well, I like this one a lot more than some of the other ones.
Oh yeah, some of the other ones were not good, like Secret Invasion.
If we're getting this one, that's fine.
People all over the internet are pissed off about Secret Invasion.
Secret Invasion was poorly done.
Yeah, and it cost more than $200 million.
The actors, kind of expensive.
I don't know about
they cast, like, big names. But the story
That's
was
not where
faulty.
they had to reshoot a lot of it, and it was still great. Anyway, we're not here to talk about
They
Secret
reshoot-
Invasion.
oh my
We've
gosh.
already ranted about that. Check out our channel. We've got that on there. So I'm actually looking forward to Loki season 2. I'm gonna rewatch season 1. We'll rewatch it together probably. You're looking forward to this as well?
Mm-hmm.
Let us know what you think of the Loki season 2 that's coming. And it's coming out October 6th. Did you enjoy season 1 or not? Let us know down in the comments below, please. Our next trailer is... We got another trailer for Star Wars Ahsoka.
Yeah.
It's coming out August 23rd. We're getting a lot of, not just trailers, but TV spots. This one did have some new footage in it. But it's not really telling us anything we don't know.
I'm a bit suspicious they're going to ruin this character.
I don't know. It is Dave Filoni's character, and I believe this is his series.
I know, but I just don't trust them. Like, no one really knows this character very well, and I hope they don't ruin it.
He does. It's his character.
Yeah, I know, but they've had some crappy material.
Yeah. Creator Dave Filoni. He's one of the executive producers along with Jon Favreau. I don't know who's directing it. It says 3 episodes, but it's definitely going to be more than that.
There's 2 coming out right away?
Yeah, it's a 2-episode premiere on August 23rd, which usually means that the first episode is not very good to hook you enough, so they gotta release 2 episodes.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. If it's not good, I'd rather not watch it. Just don't contaminate the character.
But it's Rosario Dawson.
I know,
okay.
But we just saw her in Haunted Mansion, and that was god awful.
Well, she wasn't given anything to do.
Yeah, I know.
It's not her fault. Okay.
No, it's not, but I don't trust them.
You got Sabine Wren, who's being played by Natasha Lou Bordizzo. I don't know her from stuff.
I don't remember Sabine.
But she's playing Sabine, and now she's gonna be... She's the Mandalorian from Rebels. So she's now gonna be a Jedi, and we see her more with the green saber. So I don't remember her doing anything like that in Rebels. Maybe it's been since then. Maybe it's just kind of flashbacks, and we'll get flashbacks.
Okay.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead is playing Hera, live action Hera.
I know who Hera is.
Okay, and we've seen Mary Elizabeth Winstead in some other things. We recently saw her as Huntress in that Birds of Prey movie, and she was good in that, even though it wasn't the greatest movie. Lars Mikkelsen, he's Grand Admiral Thrawn. I can't wait to see that.
He's gonna have fun with that.
Okay, Ray Stevenson. Oh man,
I just
so
watched
sad.
him as Strike a Boar.
So sad that he died recently.
Okay.
Before his show even comes out. Now, it looks like we're gonna get some good lightsaber action. You know?
I just want the story to be good, and I hope that it respects the character. That's all I'm hoping for.
Yeah, because this is supposed to tie into stuff with Mandalorian and that, and then they're supposed to make a movie on it. We'll see what happens. We haven't heard anything else from Disney on that. But such is the state of Lucasfilm. David Tennant is in it?
Oh.
I didn't know that.
I just watched Good Omens, 2nd season. As well, he's busy. He's always busy, it seems. He's in a lot of things.
Good for him. So, does this trailer make you more excited to see Ahsoka?
I don't know. I didn't like the trailer that put all different scenes from all other Star Wars in it. It made me suspicious that the product isn't very good because they did include very much from this actual.
It was 2 minutes, and so we got a short trailer, and then the rest was all stuff from all the other properties. They even include like pop movies that aren't popular, like Rise of Skywalker, Last Jedi. They also included Book of Boba Fett.
But I mean, we didn't see Ahsoka in those big movies. It's just weird to put them in the trailer for. I don't know. I'm just suspicious that it's not going to be very good.
Ahsoka isn't actually in one of the Star Wars movies, the Clone Wars animated movie. That's where she's introduced.
Not one of the big movies, though.
No,
that's an animated
it's not
movie.
It is a movie. It got a theatrical release. It's just not one of the live action ones.
No.
Okay.
Anyway.
I'm looking forward to this. It's coming out in just a couple of weeks from now. Hope it's good. Hope Disney doesn't screw it up with another one of their standard 6-episode garbage series that don't work. That would be better as a 2-hour, 2.5-hour movie.
That's I don't know. After Secret Invasion, we've had Boba Fett. I mean, the Obi-Wan seemed to be a lot missed opportunity. Yeah. It was still interesting, but it was rather dull.
Yeah. There there was a fan edit of that. They made it into like a 2.5-hour
Even
movie.
better.
But that's copyright infringement, so that gets taken down. However, at the time, it did become the biggest show in the world at the time.
It just seemed to be a waste of resources. It could have been much better.
Yeah, it was a bit disappointing.
Seeing it, that it was like a more of his life, but I think it could have been more exciting.
Here's hoping Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau do a really good job on the Star Wars Ahsoka series, because it's a really popular character with the hardcore Star Wars fans, especially with the animation. Let us know what you think of Star Wars Ahsoka, all the trailers. We just got a new one. Let us know what you think down in the comments below. Thank you for watching this, and to anyone who gives us a thumbs up, we appreciate that, and so does Fluffy Kitty. Our next trailer we watched was for Netflix, and I'm kind of getting away from Netflix stuff lately, but this one was for a show I've been watching for a while. It's for Disenchantment, the final season.
Right. You said apparently I watched a couple episodes, but I don't remember watching
the
them.
first season, which was quite a while ago.
I never got into the show.
So the show started in 2018, which is pre-pandemic.
Oh, it's younger than I thought. I thought it was older than that.
No, this is a relatively new show. Okay.
Yeah.
And I believe this is season 5. I stand corrected.
Oh, season 5, but this is the final season by the looks of it.
Yeah, every time a new season comes out, I have to rewatch the previous season because of Netflix and how they release all 10 episodes at once.
Yeah.
I'll watch it and then I have no recollection, no retention of it at all.
Right.
And then I'll go back and watch it. I'm like, I don't really remember a lot of this.
Maybe I'll download it for I have a 17-hour ferry ride coming up tomorrow, plus a couple hours waiting to get on the ferry. Maybe I'll download this show.
Yeah, remind me about that when we do comments later. But I have enjoyed this series. It hasn't necessarily been the funniest. It's made by the same people who made Futurama.
Yeah, I can tell.
So it's very similar humor styles.
Same kind of drawing as The Simpsons.
And except it's in a medieval fantasy world.
Yeah.
It's quite fun.
It looks fun.
You got Princess Tiabini. Okay, that's the main character, B. And then you got her personal demon, Lucy.
He's cute. Or is it she, is it?
That's his name, Lucy. It's a demon. They don't have genders.
Oh, like Lucifer.
Okay. And then her other friend, Elfo. He's pretty hilarious.
The little green guy?
Yeah. Elfo and the elves are actually quite funny, I found. Because there's, especially Shako.
Okay.
I think that's his name. Shako, he's like, ooh! He's always doing that.
I just woke up Fluffy Kitty here.
So, it's funny. And, this series is ending, but this show is interesting in the sense that, unlike, say, Futurama or The Simpsons, where at the end everything just goes right back to the same thing by the next episode, even if the whole city is destroyed. Right. Next episode, boom, we're right back and everything's fine again, right?
Right.
This show doesn't do that. This show is just one long continuous narrative.
That's what it appears to, because the trailer was going back to the
and that's why I keep having to go back and watch previous seasons, because you got to know where they are in this journey.
Maybe I will download it. I do have to sleep sometimes.
I enjoyed this series. It's not as good as Futurama. It's not as good as The Simpsons.
But
I really did enjoy it. Okay. And I would recommend checking out Disenchantment on Netflix if you're a fan of either of those animated shows there. Okay, so yeah, you check it out. I'm going to be watching this as of, when does it come out? September 1st.
Oh, really soon.
Yeah, we're getting lots of stuff soon. So looking forward to that. Let us know what you think of Disenchantment. Has anyone else out there watched it, or am I the only one? Appreciate if you leave a comment and let us know. And thanks to anyone who gives us a like and subscribes for more content. Now going into our reviews. Big movie this week is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem.
Turtles on the half shell. Turtle power.
You remember that from the cartoon?
Of course.
When did that cartoon came out? Sometime in the 80s. Now this movie was released, technically the release date is Wednesday, but we saw an early access screening on Monday. They're just releasing movies during the week now.
Gave me a poster. Everybody had a lot of fun, and they all had a poster.
It wasn't sold out, but
it was, the Barbie movie was
I had a fun time at this. We're not talking about Barbie now, okay?
It was packed still
so
for that.
Tell us, what do you think of this Ninja Turtles movie?
I thought it was spot on.
Mhm.
I thought it was true to the show. I thought it was cute, it was sweet, it was funny. I mean, I always want something to be really funny, but it's kids can watch it. Like, it's not inappropriate, I didn't think.
Okay.
Which is really important because we're getting a lot of these kind of things that are maybe supposed to be for kids, but kids can't really watch them. So I thought that.
You talking about that Haunted Mansion?
Or lots of other things too. But I thought that it was just a really nice movie.
What? Okay. Yeah, we're not gonna spoil this, but what did you like about it? Any of the characters or anything?
I love the animation style. I think the story and everything was true to the characters. I mean, and they are sweet. I love the voices.
Yeah, they're 4 teenagers doing that.
Yeah.
So there's some young guys there doing that.
Jackie Chan is their dad.
Yeah, Jackie Chan is Splinter. That was some good casting.
And also, is it Ice Cube? He's
Ice Cube. Whoever the casting director is on this movie, they're great because the 4 teenagers doing the turtles, it's great. And they got great interaction and chemistry with each other. And that's what you want to do. You want to focus on the Ninja Turtles. Whereas when we got those previous movies, there were these 2 Michael Bay movies, and all they did was focus on like these human characters. And I'm sitting there, why? We don't care about them. We want to see the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, I don't think I saw those.
Okay, but who did you say the casting there? So
the kids were sweet. Their voices were true, like what the turtles.
Whoever came up with the idea of casting Ice Cube as Superfly is a genius.
Funny.
He was great as this. Now, I'm not a big Ice Cube fan.
I loved him in the Jump Street.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. He's great in 21 and 22 Jump Street because he's the angry black captain. But in this, as Superfly, oh man, it was great. And the fact that he did it shows that he's pretty cool, okay? He sounded like he was having fun.
It was great.
His voice coming out of the animated Superfly, oh man, just the concept was great.
It was fun. It was cute. It was sweet.
And the cherry on top for me, to go more casting news, was, it's in the cast list, so I'm not spoiling this, Bebop and Rocksteady, Seth Rogen, and John Cena. Okay?
Oh, I never really thought of their voice. I just, Bebop and
So
Rocksteady.
John Cena as Rocksteady, and Seth Rogen as... Oh, that was Paul Rudd as Mondo Gecko.
Yeah.
He was really funny too, yeah. There's a lot of good characters in this.
And he's funny looking.
He's in it more than Bebop and Rocksteady. They weren't in it that much.
No, because they were more in the cartoon that I remember.
Get this. Get this. This movie is currently rated at 95% certified fresh and a 94% audience score.
I definitely agree with that. For what it is, it was done really, really well.
It's not expected to open to big box office numbers, but but go check it out.
It's true to the property. It's a really great film.
It's not the funniest movie, although there are good laughs in it.
There still are laughs.
But it's super fun.
It's fun, and
you're gonna have a good time watching this.
My brother and my cousin, they were really into the Ninja Turtles. I was a little bit too old when it came out.
Here's Paul Rudd as Mondo Gecko.
He's funny.
He's
I remember it, it's really true to that show and the characters, and yeah, it's really good. And now new generation can get into the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, the last one we got was 2016 Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. That was with Megan Fox and Will Arnett. That was the second. People didn't really like those movies, and the design wasn't that great. Yeah, you didn't miss anything. I didn't see the second one. The first one I saw, and I think I fell asleep during it. I was watching it at home.
Became like cool when the show came out, and we got a turtle.
1987 to 1996 was the animated show.
We got Tony the Turtle in 1987. Rest in peace, Tony.
Okay, that's your pet turtle.
We got Professor Yankee Doodle Turtle in 1989, and she's still kicking. She's gonna live to be over
turtles
100.
Can live a long time.
She was full grown when we got her, and she's still kicking. So.
Definitely recommend this. What rating would you give this movie? Because we don't want to spoil it, so it's not much we can talk about.
Oh, I give it, for sure, 95, 96. It's for what it is. I mean, it's It was really good.
Yeah, on the internet rating system, I give it the best movie ever. You know, if I have time, I might go back and see it again. It was fun.
It was fun.
And I might even get a copy of it because it was really good.
Well,
That's definitely something you can rewatch.
You should put it up. Yeah.
Don't need a poster of
I love
it.
it when they give you a poster.
Let us know what you think of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem. Thanks to anyone who gives us a comment and let us know what you think of it. Or gives us a like. We'd appreciate that. You can always subscribe for more content.
And Gregory's been craving pizza ever since.
Our next movie is The Meg 2, The Trench, starring Jason Statham.
That's your movie. I really didn't want to go see it.
You didn't want to see The Meg? You didn't see the first one?
No, because it's like not real stuff about sharks.
Okay.
Gosh.
Well, critics don't like it. It currently has a 26% critic score. Ouch, so only 1/4 of critics liked
That's
it.
very bad.
And a 66% audience score.
Well, what do you expect? I mean, are they in the Marianas Trench, or what the heck is the trench?
Look, the story of it is not that great. There's a lot of holes
really?
in it. I'm not going to spoil it. What was the first
You're not going to
one?
spoil it?
No.
It's about a shark, and it's big, and it wants to eat everybody. Is that the story?
No. Okay? The Meg's back. Okay? Just like in the first one, there's more than one Meg.
Right.
And there's other things as well. So the story's a little bit different because half of this movie takes place underwater in the trench. Okay?
Underwater.
Yeah.
Oh.
And a lot of the underwater action is not very good.
They didn't have James Cameron on this one.
No. There was another movie recently, or a couple of years ago, it was with Kristen Stewart, and it was all about these underwater aliens. It was essentially like Aliens, but underwater, and it wasn't very good. I can't remember the name of it, which tells you how good it was.
Aliens underwater.
Yeah, it was like the Aliens movie. So, this movie, what can I say about it?
Is
Jason Statham is back.
He's pulling all the stops.
He's fun in it. However, a lot of his action movies, I don't think they're the greatest because it's always, if you watch, you notice, like, no one ever gets a hit on him. No one ever is able to take him on. Because this is a thing with Hollywood action stars now. No one's allowed to hit them or even, like, get the higher ground on them.
I like the Transporter series. Those are
That was years ago. But I noticed in this one, he's a Mary Sue. He can do everything. So whenever he shows up, he's dealing with problems.
Right.
And then other people are off causing problems because he hasn't shown up there yet.
So does the shark end up hungry at the end?
Hold on. It gets quite wacky and ridiculous.
No, you don't say.
Some of the stuff about in the ocean is just like,
Not
but that's
real.
not what you're there for. You're there to see, as I said in my out of the theater reaction that I posted,
Yeah.
Jason Statham's there. He's ready to just, anything that comes out of the water, he's ready to punch it right in the face. Okay? Because that's what he
punch a shark in the face, or at least punch him in the nose.
He
punch
punched
him
a Meg in the first one last time. He just punched it. He's like, get out of
I
here.
don't even feel that. It's like punching a bear.
So he's punching other stuff in the water this time.
Okay.
Cliff Curtis is back. Now, there's an interesting character, and I don't remember the first one that much, but there's a character from the first one. His name's DJ.
Okay.
And DJ is I don't remember what he was in the first one, but in this one, he is the smartest character.
Oh, he's
And
the sign sing it up?
Not necessarily.
Is there any signs in this?
He's just really smart. What's his name? Paige Kennedy plays him.
Okay. That's
And
good.
is definitely some character development for him.
Oh, that's good.
So he's good in it. And there's
Who
this
else is in
there's
this
this
movie?
there's this guy who plays, what's his name there? I'm trying to find, no, he's not even on here.
Oh.
Okay? I can't remember the guy's name or even the character's name, but he's essentially the Asian last action hero. And he's always doing really stupid things, and he's just way over the top, and he's just acting as if he's, an action star.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Okay.
It's great. You're like, this guy's gonna die now. Oh, everything's working out for this guy. Okay, now he's gonna die. It just keeps going on. I'm like, this is great.
Great.
Who else was there? I think it's Winston Cowell plays him, but I'm not sure. And was there anyone else? No, that's it. So this movie,
It
I had a
sucks.
fun time with it.
It sucks, doesn't it?
It's a bad movie, but I had fun with it.
It's not realistic about sharks. I mean, yeah, you
No.
don't want to swim
This
with
is not
sharks.
realistic at all. This is essentially, let's compare it to another franchise, a popular franchise, Jurassic Park.
Okay.
This is essentially Jurassic Park in water.
Oh, because this fish is a
Because in the first
Jurassic
one,
type fish.
spoilers for the yeah, these are from like the Jurassic or Cretaceous
Is
period.
there any plesiosaurs in there?
I don't know what that is.
Oh.
So, from the first movie, these creatures survive because they're in this trench underneath
Right.
this thermal layer that they can't get through because it's so cold. But in the trench, there's these lava, geysers and that,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it keeps
to
it
keep it
warm.
warm.
It keeps it warm under.
It's more not the heat; it's the pressure. That's the issue for the animals, not the heat.
Yeah, there's a water pressure. The water pressure thing comes up in this movie at
It
one
does?
point, and it's not done very
Oh.
well. And I'm like, this is nonsense. But you have a good time. It's way over the top. You know, it's just fun.
Right.
It's just a fun, ridiculous movie. If you're there for realism, don't watch this. If you're there to be, if you're thinking this is going to be like a scary Jaws kind of movie, it's not that either.
Right.
It's just over the top, wacky, being ridiculous, having a fun time. And Jason Statham is there. He's angry. He's Irish. He's pissed off. He's punching everything he can. You know, he's there to blow stuff up. Okay?
It's not for animal lovers then.
No. You know, there's he's taking a lot of some medieval weapons onto some of these
Jaws?
creatures.
No. Oh, okay.
No, it's like the first one.
I
But
didn't see the first
I
one.
think it's a bit better than the first
Oh,
one,
okay.
even though I don't really remember much of
We
the
have
first one.
sharks all around our coast here. Actually, my father was saying that his friend was out fishing mackerel and the shark came.
Did you
Eating
catch
all
the
the-
shark?
No, but they didn't catch any mackerel because the shark was there catching all the
Well,
mackerel.
these megs are giant prehistoric sharks.
Well, sharks
I
are
mean,
kinda big.
their fins that stick out of the water are like a story tall, like 1 floor
Oh,
tall.
yeah.
They're sticking out the water.
Well,
They're coming. You can see them
People
coming.
here, when they're doing the recreational like codfish and stuff, they run into the sharks quite a bit, and they're not to be messed with. I tell you,
I wouldn't mess with a shark.
them. They're just normal sharks.
Unless you're Statham, in which case he's just punching them like.
I do like the taste of dogfish though. They're pretty yummy. They taste like swordfish. But anyway.
Okay. Anyone else out there see Meg 2, The Trench? If you do, please leave us a comment down below. We appreciate that. Or a thumbs up on this review. You can always subscribe for more content. Our next review, Christine is going to talk about the final season. Oh, sorry, not the final season. Season 3 of The Witcher. I think we're getting season 4.
It concluded. And
The season did.
Yeah, I was kind of tired of it. I was doing things. I'm getting ready to leave on vacation, and I sort of watched the last couple episodes, and I had to go back and watch them again because I wasn't paying enough attention.
If it's boring, why are you watching it?
I don't know. Siri was lost in the desert, and
Who's Siri?
Oh my gosh, she's not the assistant on your phone. She's the main character. Apparently, The Witcher is sort of the main character, but Siri is really what the whole world is looking. They're all looking for her. They all need her in some way or some other. Anyway, and she gets thrown into the desert. Spoiler. A bad desert, and she.
Oh yeah, it's on TV, so we can spoil this.
Hallucinating, and she comes upon a unicorn. Is that hallucinated? I don't know. And she sees people from her past and people that mythological type people and stuff like that. And she runs in and she wants to think there's water and it's oil. And anyway, the unicorn saves her and finds her some water, and then she ends up.
The unicorn.
Yeah, she
sounds like she's on an acid trip.
That's what happens. She eats some lizard in the desert. Word to the wise, don't eat lizard if you're not sure what kind of lizard it is, because yeah, she does go on with the lizard and the unicorn. Anyway, I kind of zoned out for a while. I had to watch it again because it was too much for me. Anyway.
Was it boring?
Yeah, I didn't.
Okay.
I just thought, okay.
According
I
to-
liked when she ate the lizard, but it could have been condensed a bit.
According to Rotten Tomatoes, this season has a 77%, which is in the middle. It's higher than season 1 for this show.
Well, it's still, you're learning more about the characters, but Geralt is in trouble. That's the other thing.
Is that Henry Cavill?
Yeah, he got really in trouble. The bad wizard kicked the crap out of him. And the bad wizard goes to kidnap. He actually leaves him for dead on the beach. They have to go rescue him, Geralt. And he goes to kidnap Ciri, but Ciri has her weird connections with these obelisks, and the obelisks start talking to her, and she blows the whole thing apart. And Vilgefortz, the
Is
bad
this
wizard,
funny at all?
No.
Sounds dumb.
He gets blown to bits, and they all think she's dead. They don't know what happened, and somehow the obelisk sent her to the desert. Geralt is on the friggin' beach, half dead, and the wizards are all blown apart. They got in a big fight with everybody, and half of them are dead, and so they lost a lot of interesting characters. A lot of people were killed off.
But there's still going to be, it's still left at hanging for season 4.
Then he goes to these kind of I found it kind of boring. He goes to these boring witch people that Ciri had run into before, and they're trying to heal him, and then of course he needs Yennefer, and Yennefer comes and heals him. And
so overall this season was boring.
No, waiting for these last episodes, I didn't care for them that much. I mean, you know that the Witcher's not going to die. It's just kind of like, you know, he's like a superhero, right? You know, there's more seasons coming. I don't know.
Kill him at the end of the show.
And so how it ends is that, well, there's a twist. There is a little twist. Ciri is now off in a foreign land, and she no one knows really who she is because everyone was looking for her. But what happened was that the weird wizard Vilgefortz, he was doing experimenting on these little sorcerer girls. It was terrible, actually. It was pretty gross. And he made a Ciri. We saw her before in it. He created a girl that looked like Ciri.
Okay, you should probably stop saying that name in case it's activating people's phones.
Well, that's the character. I can't help it. It's with a C. Anyway, basically, her father thinks it's her, or does he? He thinks it's her, and Vilgefortz presents her, and he's done his job by finding her. But it's not her. It's the girl that he created to...
It's the clone!
Yeah, it's not really a clone, but it appears to be. So she sort of looks like her. Anyway, I don't know where it's going to come of that. And the bad guy from the first season is now her servant, but he disappears. And
okay. So this doesn't sound very good, but what's your favorite season of the 3?
I don't know.
I
like parts here and there. I like the first part of this season, but this ending was kind of like, it could have been all done in one episode if you ask me.
Okay.
These last
Are you tapping out of this show?
No, I'll continue watching it. So basically, they're hearing rumors that she's with the wizard. They don't know it's her father. They think that she's there, but she's actually not. So they're gonna go find her and get her back, and that's sort of how it ends.
Okay, so it's a fantasy drama, and it's 8 episodes per season. How long are these episodes?
They're kind of long. The one with the desert seemed really long.
Okay. Overall, this show doesn't have good. It's 80% critic rating and 56% audience score. So critics are enjoying it more than audiences are.
I think that this whole season could be reduced down to like 4 episodes. It's just dragged out a bit. Yeah, there's a bit of a lack of
good
comedy.
writing.
There's a lack of comedy in it. There's a lack of humanity sometimes in it.
It's
but
too serious.
Yeah, Jasker is the only real comedy in the whole thing. And they keep on doing the same thing with him. But there was a little twist there. He's got a new boyfriend, and he's now the king, so we'll see how that goes. That sounds promising. Anyway, but yeah, it's a little bit stiff.
So overall, you like this season or not?
It's okay. But but I do
Put
see
that on the
flaws in
poster.
it.
That doesn't sound very good.
I watched a show about how they made it. It's very... I mean, the fight scenes. If you're into fight scenes, this is the thing for you. They're very involved, and they don't do that thing you don't like, that cut stuff. They don't do that.
Yeah, all that constantly
Oh my
cutting.
gosh, it looks like a terrible amount of work for the actors and all the
It
fighting
is. It's
that
choreography.
they do. It's an awful lot. It's like Into the Badlands. It's similar to that. It's
they
very involved.
They
in
were
the
Netflix
fights.
released on their YouTube channel. There was Henry Cavill doing, or maybe he released it on his Instagram. It was him practicing with the stuntmen all their
I can see why he doesn't want to
choreography.
do the show anymore. He's got other things to do because it looks like it's very intense. They're always fighting a monster or a creature. It's a lot of work goes into it, but I think that they should have polished up the story a little bit and made it a little bit more, a little bit more humor is needed in it.
Okay.
But I still do like it.
Well, we're supposed to be getting, I think, Liam Hemsworth for season 4. So these are hour-long episodes, you said.
Well, I don't know how long.
So are you willing to watch another 8 hours of this?
Well, maybe they're 40 minutes. I don't know how long they're. Yeah, I'll watch it. I mean, I like a story. I like this story. It's apparently based on a bunch of books. You said it was a video game? I don't know.
I think it was a video game, but if
I
I'm
don't
wrong
know.
on that, let me know down in the comments below, please.
But,
Okay,
yeah, it's still good.
It's still good, sort of. Anyone enjoying The Witcher on Netflix? Do you have a better opinion than Christine? Maybe you didn't like it at all. Let us know down in the comments below, please.
I'm a bit impatient.
Is anyone really enjoying? Do you feel it's dragged out and kind of boring this season? I haven't watched, so I don't know. Now I'm going to go into another review, and this is for a movie that just came out this weekend called Talk to Me. This is the one with, this is a horror movie. It's the one with the hand.
Yeah,
okay?
and
It's got that hand.
Older people having a party that really 13-year-olds would have.
Yeah, it's...
That's what the trailer told me. This is not a university type party. This is like something that 12 and maybe 13-year-olds would be doing. That's what I thought when I saw the trailer.
Yeah, playing with Ouija boards and that kind of stuff. So this is a bunch of adults in their 20s playing teenagers.
Not even, or preteens.
This is an Australian film. Okay, it's filmed in Australia. It takes place in Australia. They all got Australian accents, so it takes a little bit to get used to the accents. And I'm not gonna lie, there were a couple of lines that I'm like, "What did they say?" I just couldn't make it out. Or maybe they were saying, Australian slang, and I had no idea what's going on there.
Dingo ate my baby?
No, they didn't say anything like that. I think they'd get upset at you in Australia if you said that. Is that something that pisses off Australians? If you're in Australia and what Christine said is bothersome, let us know down in the comments below.
I don't know how your dingoes are there, but I know our coyotes back home have tried to take children into the woods. So
well, I think
dingoes ourselves.
Dingoes are an invasive species there.
Oh, my coyotes.
So this is it's by A24 is the production company. What do we got here? So it currently has a 95% certified fresh critic rating and an 82% audience score, but there's not exactly a lot of reviews yet.
Right.
So,
is it scary?
I didn't find it scary at all. I found it as pretty much what you said, is that so these kids who are adults pushing 30.
20 above.
Okay? They're playing these high school kids, and then there's one younger kid who...
Oh, they're supposed to be in high school.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, really? Because when I saw them, I was like, they look like they're in grad school, at least.
Yeah. As I said, 20-year-olds playing teenagers, because that's how Hollywood always does it. And apparently that's how they do it in Australia, too. So you get more people with more experience in acting, right? So they can do a better job. I'm guessing. I don't know.
Something also Cape Breton and Australia have in common. We both have a Sydney.
Yeah, theirs is more famous, though.
I know, but ours has a big fiddle.
This wasn't for me. It was short. It was an hour and 35. I'm not going to spoil it, but there wasn't any fun moments in it, really. It had a lot of pacing issues, similar to what I said about The Boogeyman. Similar to it's
right.
They established normalcy at the beginning, which I don't think they do a really good job, Because at the beginning, they have to establish that everything's normal, but they have to give you a reason to care about these characters for when stuff starts going wrong.
Right.
They don't do that. I don't care about it. There is a big name in it. Miranda Otto is in it.
I don't know.
As the mom. That's Lady Eowyn from the Lord of the Rings.
Oh.
She killed the
I know
Witch
she's-
King of Agmar, the
Yeah, she
Nazgul King.
Pretended to be a man soldier. Yeah.
Yeah, so she's in this as the mom.
Oh, whose mom?
One of the characters in it.
Because they're supposed to be 13.
Yeah, Jade's mom, who's played by Alexandra Jensen. Whereas
Okay.
the main character is Sophie Wilde's character, Mia. This, and it had a lot of pacing issues because it's starting off normal, things get creepy and also kind of confusing because they don't really explain it. They're like, hey, let's play this game with this hand. Where'd they get it? Don't worry about it, right? What does it do? Hey, you'll see, right?
Right,
You have to follow these rules. Where'd you get these rules? Don't worry about it. And they kind of go to it later on, but not really very well. Essentially, I'm like, is this a monkey's paw kind of thing?
Yeah.
No, because you don't get wishes. Instead,
Oh.
it just drives people crazy, and it has a connection to the dead, the spirits, right?
Right.
And
Like a medium, but it's an object.
yeah, but it's the way that it was written, because it kept just going. It's like we're sad and normal, and then things get really creepy, and then it's kind of sad, and it just keeps going up and
dull
and I'm like,
moments.
you gotta keep it steadily going up, right?
Right.
It just has to get a little bit weirder. In fact, I think they copied, near the beginning, there's a scene where they copied a couple of other movies where something weird happens, but it's not quite unheard of, but it's upsetting, and it can happen in real life. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's similar to what happened near the beginning of Get Out, and also it also reminded me a little bit of the beginning of Hereditary, which, by the way, don't watch the movie Hereditary. It's terrible.
I know you don't like that.
That's not a movie I enjoy. So I still think they should have called this movie Talk to the Hand, because that would have implied that was funny. Throw a few jokes in the trailer
Right.
and convince everyone that this is going to be like a fun, teen comedy.
Yeah.
And then you go and it's this weird horror movie.
Right. You know what? It would have been funnier. So a bunch of moms are over having wine, getting a little bit tipsy, and the kids leave the thing out, right?
And then
the moms get and they're drunk, and that would have been better. That would have been funny.
Maybe, but they wouldn't know the rules.
Well, they just read the card or whatever.
And they never really explain
where
the rules came from. And I think they showed in the trailer, because they time it on their phones and it's 90 seconds. And they don't really show or explain too much what happens if you go over it.
Right, it's just like those things where you have to say like Bloody Mary so many
You
times.
have to light a candle, and I'm sitting there, what is this?
But people that age are not into that.
No.
Age of 10 to 13.
No, even if these were, 17, 18-year-old kids, let's say seniors in high school, right?
Yeah.
They're not going to be into this nonsense. It would be like 12, 13-year-olds.
Right.
Now, there's one kid, he's probably about 14. I don't know what age he was supposed to be playing, but he's the younger brother.
Right.
And they don't do a good enough job making you care about these characters. So when stuff starts going wrong, and it's not that it's all mystery. It's just kind of, why are we doing this? What's happening? Like, how is this connecting the dots? What's the point of this?
So it's just not very good.
For me.
Okay.
I think, well, I went to go see it because it had these high ratings on Rotten Tomatoes.
Right.
But I didn't really enjoy it.
Well,
So
it's probably
that's
not
on
for
me.
you anyway, and
No.
I can see you as a kid being one to be into the Ouija board or
No,
that kind of stuff.
that wasn't me at all.
I was. We had nothing else to do. Gosh. Go
Sit there and play with the
count
Ouija.
fireflies. That's about it. Yeah. So we used to be all into, but I mean that was like when I was age 7 to 11, probably.
Mm-hmm.
We thought there was ghosts in the swamp and stuff like that.
I don't want to go on about this. I'm not going to ruin what happens. Because this isn't for me, full spoilers, I'm not a horror movie or scary movie kind of guy. I give this a worst movie ever. Because Like if you're really into horror, people always show up for good horror. I don't think this is a very good horror movie. Like in terms of the scary movies I enjoy would be Get Out, Event Horizon we talked about.
You like The Sixth Sense? That one was beautiful.
Yeah, that one was
really
good.
well
I haven't
done.
seen it since
Really
in a long
freaked me
time. I didn't find it really scary.
I did.
The Shining is a classic.
Well, yeah.
So there are good scary movies that I enjoy, but not this one. However, I'm probably in the minority here, especially considering these scores here. So if you have a different opinion, feel free to let us know. You know, we want to hear what did you like about it? What worked for it as a horror movie if you did? Or if you didn't like it, let us know. You know, thank you for anyone who watches this and gives us a thumbs up, a like. We'd appreciate that. And you can always subscribe for more content. Our next review, Christine's going to talk about Good Omens 2.
Well,
So we got a sequel to the first season.
Yeah, I knew it was coming because I saw David Tennant on Facebook talking about recording it and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've started Good Omens 2, but I went back and watched the first one, Good Omens, because I hadn't seen it in a while. I did really enjoy it, and so I watched that one. It doesn't take long. The episodes are not very long. And now I'm into Good Omens 2. I'm up to episode 4.
How many episodes? 6 episodes.
Yeah, there's not many, and the same as the first.
And they're short?
They don't seem to be that long. I don't know. Anyway, I was able to watch the first season pretty quickly. These ones might be longer. I'm not sure. Anyway, the first season. I'll talk about the first season now because I'm only on episode
Spoilers
4
for the first season.
of the second. Well, Good Omens 2 is what they're calling it. Yeah, the first season has got a lot of characters in it compared to this one.
Mm-hmm.
It's got all the angels. It's got all the demons. It's got the witch hunter society, which is hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
And the witch, of course, and then the children, and the basically the child that's going to basically the whole thing starts out with that there are people are only meant to be on the earth for 6,000 years, and then this child is going to come and destroy the earth. This is
so we're talking Book of Revelations kind of stuff?
Yeah, this is what it's about. And Crawley and the angel, basically, they meet up through history. And the angel is always a goody two-shoes, of course, and Crawley is always not. But Crawley has basically things that he will not do. He's not that bad. He likes to be bad because he's a demon, but he's really not that bad. And the angel, he sees like the greater good at the end, so he will do things that might not be like what his bosses might want him to do, but he works with Crawley and they work to get things sorted out.
That's Michael Sheen's character?
Yes, he's really funny.
Aziraphale?
Aziraphale, yeah. Mr.
Okay.
Fell. He goes by as well.
Where does that name come from?
He's an angel.
Okay.
He's an angel, and Crawley's is the demon.
Mm-hmm.
And then their bosses and everything. And the angels are really boring.
Yeah, they would be because they're good. And what they do, just fly around with their wings, playing their harps. And...
Gabriel is a real douchebag angel. He's like his boss, and he's not. And God herself is. She never talks to anyone directly.
Who plays God?
Oh, what's Frances McDormand?
Frances McDormand?
Yeah,
okay,
she's
Frances
God,
McDormand is God.
but she doesn't interact directly with anybody. But the whole thing is in the end, like
Nick Offerman's in this?
Oh yeah, he plays a funny American.
And Michael McKean?
Michael McKean
Wow.
is the best in it. He is so awesome in this. He is the president of the Witch Founders, or the lead general, and milk bottle and can of pop is
There's a few big names in this.
Society.
And John Hamm.
John Hamm is a
dick.
douche.
Gabriel.
Yeah, and it's just really funny season 1 is hilarious.
What's the story of season 1? What do they have to do?
Well,
We
the
can
whole
spoil it,
idea,
it's
it's a whole, like, switcheroo goes wrong, okay? So the baby has to be delivered, and it's gonna go to this American diplomat's family.
Whose baby?
The baby that ends the Earth in 11 years.
What, the Antichrist?
He's like the son of Satan.
Okay, so it's Damien.
No.
It's Damien
not.
from the Omen.
It's Adam. Anyway, so he is Satan's son, and Crowley is given him to deliver to these really weird nuns that are nuns of Satan that are supposed to give the baby, switch out the baby with Nick Offerman. It's supposed to be his son. He is this American douchebag politician.
Mm-hmm.
And he's over in England. He's posted over there.
Yeah, he's an ambassador.
They have to go to this hospital where the nuns are to deliver the baby. So Crawley, but he gives the baby to Sister Mary Loquacious, who is a doofus, and she finds Crawley because they send her to the kitchen for cookies. And Crawley, of course, comes in the back door and finds her. So she takes the baby, and she has no idea what's going on. And she ends up giving the baby to this really normal family.
So they're essentially just playing hot potato with this baby. It's
they
like,
show
what do I
that.
do here? You take it. You take it.
And then their baby goes to the Americans. And as for the Americans' baby, they never say what something bad happens. We never see what happens.
So it's the old baby switcheroo at the hospital telling you, you don't know what kid you get back after they take it and put it in that neonatal nursery.
Listen,
they could give you someone else's kid. You don't know.
I know. There was a girl, Kelly, that looks like me a lot. And we have the same birthday. Anyway, but I look just like my brother. So
what did the postman look like?
No, but I look like my brother, so we're all safe. Anyway, but basically, there's a switcheroo, and everyone thinks it's his American diplomat's baby, but anyway, it's just funny.
So what happens with the baby at the end of the first season?
He grows up, and he starts, but see, who he's interacting with really affects him. So he's not that bad of a kid, although he starts, like, so he gets a hold of these weird magazines, and he like makes sure
like
there's
Playboy magazines?
No, these weird witch conspiracy magazines. So he makes sure there's no nuclear reactors anymore, first off. And
how does he do this?
He just does it, and all of a sudden, like, they look in the core and there's no reactor. It's similar to Chernobyl, but nothing blew up, but it's still giving energy and stuff like that. It's just fun.
So this is essentially Damien from the Omen, because he's got weird satanic powers. He can just do whatever with his eyes.
No. And he has a dog that does things with his
You haven't
eyes.
seen the Omen, have you?
No, but this is not what it's about. Anyway, it's fun, and Crawley and Aziraphale have fun together, and they basically stop this whole thing from happening. But in the end, this is the whole thing. Well, God put them there, so maybe this is the plan, right?
Overall,
the angels and the demons are kind of like, they both want to punish them because they're both been bad, right?
So why is Stephen, what's his name there?
Huh?
Why is David Tennant and Stephen...
What?
Oh, sorry, Michael Sheen. Why are they working together?
As I told you. Because they've met through history. And the angel...
Like a working relationship?
Yes.
Angels and demons working together?
Well,
they're kind of like civil servants?
No. They meet each other through time. And in the end, they're so bothered having to go here or go there, travel all these different places. They decide to, like, help each other with their duties.
Yeah.
So, like, one goes up to, like, I don't know, Scotland and does his duties and the other guy's duties, and the other one goes to London and does... So they, like, start working together, and David Tennant isn't that bad, but he likes to say he is, but Aziraphale is actually, like, he's not bad either, but he's also... He doesn't toe the party line. Neither of them do. They don't toe the party line.
Okay. Is this a fun show?
It's very fun.
Okay.
First season is really funny.
It currently has an 85% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, that might not mean very much, but it has a 95% audience score.
Well,
so people that are watching it are enjoying it. I don't know how popular it is.
I think because people who were staunchly religious would probably have given it a 0 and brought down the ranking.
Because
So
of
I
the
think
Judeo-Christian undertones and
it's all about
what
that.
they're borrowing from
So
their
I wouldn't
theology.
really, you can't really. Anyway, the first season is hilarious, and Michael McKean is hilarious in it.
Okay. If you're a hardcore Christian, whether you're Catholic or
depends on
Anglican,
what
whatever,
Christian
do you
are.
enjoy this Good Omens show? I mean, whether it be season 1 or season 2? Well, no, let us know what you think down in the comments below.
Well, some would say it's blasphemy, but you got it.
But
it's
maybe
fun.
some people do enjoy it. So you're 4 episodes in out of 6 for the second season.
Second season. Second season is not as grand
It's
as
not,
the first season.
but is it more fun?
No, it's not more fun.
It's not as good as the first
No,
season,
it's not
huh?
as good. It's still an interesting story, but it's all on their relationship so far.
Came down. And yeah, so this probably was end up being probably delayed due to the pandemic. Because
But I
first
still-
season came out in 2019, which was 4 years ago.
I still like it, but like they brought back Sister Mary Loquacious, but she's not Sister Mary Loquacious. She's someone named Nina who runs a coffee shop. Because things changed when the boy did all of that he did, and they reset kind of the world. I guess that's why she's still in it, but she's playing a different person.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really care for that storyline. Her and this weird record store lady, or like, I don't know. I don't like that storyline, but the stuff with David Tennant, and he's terrific in it.
And Michael Sheen?
Yeah, he's David Tennant, and he's just made for this role.
Yeah, he's usually really good in everything, although I've seen him in some bad movies in the last few years, especially pre-pandemic. Not the best movies. However,
I don't like Harry Potter.
Christine's really enjoying Good Omens.
I still really enjoy it. It's not as grand, and it doesn't have Michael McKean in it so far.
Oh, he's not in the second
Not
season.
so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't checked this out, so I don't have an opinion on this. I'm glad you're enjoying
I
it. Is
still
anyone
enjoy
else
it.
enjoying Good Omens on Prime? One of the few good shows they got on Prime there. Let us know what you think of it, whether it's good or not. Let us know what you like, don't like about it.
It's still good, but it's not as good as the first season. It doesn't seem to have the resources given to doesn't have like the cast of the other one. It has a very small cast compared to the first one. They didn't give it enough money. They spent all their money on the new Lord of the Rings thing, I guess. They didn't have any money left for Good
Oh,
Omens.
Amazon's got tons of money.
Well, it seems like it's like a dampened down version, but it's still really great.
They probably cut the budget because
It is a
maybe it didn't have good ratings.
Robert
I don't
Durst.
know.
It's it's fabulous though.
Anyone else there watching Good Omens? Let us know down in the comments below, please. Next, we got our episode 2 of season 11 for Futurama, which love this show.
Oh yeah.
This
one was
episode, we got to see. I mean, you see the whole gang there, the crew of the Planet Express, and we're seeing Scruffy every episode. I'm Scruffy, the janitor.
funny.
He has a funny joke in this one. He pops up for a couple seconds because this one's all about Amy and her spawn with Kif. And apparently there's like a certain percentage is also Scruffy's DNA. And you see him on his car, he's like, Scruffy's DNA gets around.
Maybe that's what I-
And
yeah,
he's
it's
reading
weird
this
hair.
magazine called Sexy Topiaries.
Yeah, I saw that.
which is plants.
Well, you can carve them in different ways.
So we get to see Kif this episode, and with Kif you get to see Zap. You get to see the swamp grand priestess.
Yeah, I did
She's
remember
back because she
her.
always had tons of jobs. Yeah, we even get to see a flashback to the episode
Her parents.
when Kif gave birth to their offspring there, the
Yeah,
tadpoles, and they're like, oh, this is gross. And it was recorded on an iPhone, and I remember both that episode and the iPhone episode from on
Yeah.
Comedy Central. Great episodes.
I didn't remember any of that, but I thought it was a really funny episode. I liked it better than the first episode.
Who was the other? Oh, we got to see the Wongs.
Yeah, her
Okay.
parents.
Yeah, her parents. They show
They
up.
were too impressed.
Yeah, and they left. Yeah, they had a funny joke with
These are supposed
The
to be
bumper
their
sticker?
grandchildren, and
they have a bumper sticker. Ask me about my grandkids, and then she replaces it. Don't ask me about my
Yeah.
grandkids, because they're embarrassed about their kind of swamp creature grandkids.
with one eye and
Yeah. Well, that's
mustaches.
because Leela's the mother.
I know. One of them has one eye. One of them is sort of look like Scruffy, I guess.
No, I don't.
He's got
The
scruffy
middle one?
hair. The tall one has scruffy hair.
No, that one's supposed to look like teenage Kif.
Oh, I don't know. Anyway, it's the joys of parenthood.
Yeah, there was a great joke when Kif has to leave on the Nimbus, and they're there to see him off, and then the kids start crying when the ship leaves, and then Amy
Right.
starts crying. They're all just crying.
And the bear scientist with the tardigrade.
Oh yeah, that was the other guest. We got to see the whale biologist,
Yeah.
and
He's
do you
now
think
a
he?
tardigrade biologist.
I don't know if he lived at the end, but they didn't actually show us. Maybe
No,
he
they
got
didn't
out.
show it. I thought it should have been like the
But-
lower decks, and he should the bear should have like mouthed them to death. Or
He's a bear biologist now because he hates whales, especially Mushu.
they should have like drooled on.
That
it.
was from the original. That was before it originally got canceled from the 4th season.
Oh.
Remember when Fry he wanted to drink 100 cups of coffee because they all got their
I don't remember
$300 refund from President Nixon, and he spent it on $100 of coffee. 100 cups of coffee.
I don't remember.
You don't remember? And then he became the Flash.
I remember they drank a lot of Slurm once.
Yeah, that was the Slurm episode. We
I
saw
do remember
Slurm's
that.
Mackenzie last in the first episode, and
Yeah.
he's old and haggard. He's like
Right,
still
right.
partying all the time.
Yeah.
I'm so tired, so tired.
Just drink the Slurm.
Yeah, oh, that gross
Anyway,
Slurm.
it was fun.
This was another great episode. I might actually start recording on Mondays and then posting it just this segment earlier where we spoil the episode because it's Friday now. I actually rewatched both episodes.
Oh.
Loved them both. Just to remind myself of that because by the time we record this, like when it comes out on Monday, it's been several days. I've been watching other stuff and doing other things. I just short-term memory, I guess. So Futurama season 11, it's going great. Are you enjoying it? Gonna keep watching it?
Yeah. I am.
You need to go back and watch from season 5 onward.
Yeah, I don't remember everything. I do remember them drinking a lot of Slurm, but I don't remember.
That was in the original. I
I
think that
don't
was
remember
season
at all.
3. That was back on the
Wow.
original Fox run
Okay.
on the
I
Fox
got a lot of
network.
things to watch.
Let us know what you think about Futurama season 11 so far and all the guests we've been seeing. Is there anyone that you're looking forward to see? Is there any guests that we want to see that we haven't seen? Oh, maybe Roberto, where he's stabbing everyone. Ha ha ha! That crazy robot. See if we get him back.
I don't know. We'll have to see. Just as long as it's funny.
Oh, we got a Flexo reference. It was written in graffiti on the side of I think the phone booth or something. It's like Flexo was here. I wonder if we'll get to see Flexo again.
Maybe, I don't remember.
Okay,
Flexo.
Bender's like evil twin.
Oh, he's evil twin, alright.
Actually, I think he's the good twin, but they're not. Neither of them are really
Right,
good.
they're not really good, no.
Let us know what you think about Futurama season 11 down in the comments below, please. Next, Christine is going to talk about Star Trek Strange New Worlds, episode 9. Was this a
Yeah.
good episode?
Not for me.
No.
People told me, I heard it was going to be the musical episode, and I kind of really blocked that out of my mind because I don't care for musicals that much.
So it was an even better episode. Subspace Rhapsody is what it's called.
It's
Subspace
not for me. I mean, it's just some of them can sing. Or her
But they're
can sing.
so serious and
I
stoic
think they
all
use
the
some
time.
auto-tune there a little bit. The funny part was the Klingons got involved, and I couldn't
Ooh.
wait for the Klingons to sing, and it was hilarious when the Klingons sang. It was hilarious. That's all I'm gonna say. You have to watch
They
that
weren't
part.
singing
It's near
in
the
Klingon,
end.
were they?
No.
Oh.
They were singing like Drake. It was like Drake or something. They had this music video. They were dancing and stuff. Anyway, the Klingons were really mad that they were being forced to sing. They were singing.
Why were they forced to sing?
Oh,
You can spoil
spoiler. It's all about they're trying to. They don't have subspace communications at this time.
Mhm.
So Spock and her are trying to make them for the first time, and
So they have to sing?
no, so they're trying to send like voice communications. So the new engineer says, "Why don't you send a song through? See if that'll get through better, right?
Mhm.
Maybe it's the frequencies or whatever." So
Mhm.
they send a song out, and unfortunately, in front of them is this folded over piece of subspace. It's not a nebula. It's like fold over piece of sun. It looks like a nebula, but and it reacts to the song, and it starts causing abnormal space basically, and it shoots back at them and makes them start singing.
So the subspace nebula makes all the Enterprise crew sing.
Yeah, it's a fold in subspace.
And they realize they're singing.
Oh yeah, they start saying, "What is going on? What is happening?
So
Why am I singing?"
Does it become like Les Mis where everything is singing?
No, they don't always sing. They sing when they get emotional. So then they determine it's a security risk. And they have one other funny part where the captain starts getting in a fight with his girlfriend on the main screen in the bridge, but it could have been funnier. But I just
really
don't
serious
like.
And
I just don't like the singing. Some of the songs were okay though, but I just can't take the singing.
Why not?
I just don't like it sometimes. It just makes me cringe. I don't know. I'm not a fan of the singing. Other people might say this is their favorite episode, but for me, it wasn't. Now, some of them could really sing, though. So in the end, they have to sing a lot. That's the whole thing in order to make this thing blow up. So they sing all together in unison.
Everyone sings, and there's a big crescendo.
And then it's like fireworks at the end because the thing
on the ship.
Up. No, outside, the nebula thing, the fold blows up.
Okay.
And it's over. And the Klingons have to sing too. The Klingons, see, the whole thing is the Klingons are going to blow it up. But if they were to blow it up, they blow up like all of space, basically. Okay. So they're trying to stop that. And Uhura finds out in order to stop it, they need to sing more and sing together and in unison. So.
And they're not happy about that.
Well, I think they could have made it funnier like that. But no, they all sing, and Spock breaks up with his girlfriend, and he's not happy.
The nurse.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be happy either if I broke up with my nurse girlfriend. No, he's not
happy at all. You can tell he's not happy. She gets her...
But he's not emotional.
Well, you can tell he's not happy.
How so?
Because he doesn't look happy.
He's just walking... Is he brooding all the time?
Yeah, he's an Eeyore. Basically, she gets this job she wanted. It's only for 3 months or something. It's going off on a research thing. She's been trying to go for a while, and then she doesn't even tell him about it, and then he finds out because they're celebrating with champagne, and he gets all... Anyway, she doesn't handle it very well. She's all excited, and he just actually broke up his long-term relationship for her. And now she's leaving. And she doesn't really, I don't think she treats him with much respect. Anyway, Spock's depressed. But it could have been funnier.
So you didn't like this episode at all?
I didn't really care for it. And Lon and Kirk are there, and then Kirk tells her he has a girlfriend. And it was all about their relationship, but I think it could have been funnier. We
only got one more episode of this to go, which is coming out next week, and you're going to be away. You're not going to be able to update us on that.
Oh, I won't be able. I can tell you what happened, and then you can relay it to our listeners if I liked it or not. I know I'm going to like the next one. I just don't like musicals. It's not Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
You can talk about when you come back.
And the beep beep of Cats. That's the best musical ever.
Cats?
Cats.
Okay.
Crazy Ex-Girlfriend had some crazy songs. My favorite one was the one about the cats where she decides she's going to be an old maid and she's going to get a beep beep load of cats. Okay. She goes into the cat store and all the cats are like, they're like Muppets like from the Muppet Show and they're all singing and everything.
Nice.
That's my kind of musical.
Okay. Let us know what you think about Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Season 3, Episode 9, Subspace Rhapsody.
Was this a good one? Love it,
Christine didn't really enjoy it, but maybe you did. Let us know. Are you still excited for this season to finish off?
Yes, though? I am. I just don't like musical things.
Is this season better than the others?
Yeah, I like it because I'm getting into the characters. Some of the episodes have been really good.
Now it's time for another segment of Chakotay's Odyssey, featuring the adventures of Janeway. So we got Season 2, Episode 18 is called Death Wish. And this one does not focus on a particular crew member. Instead, this is about special guests. In fact, we get a bunch of guests, but there's 2 main celebrities you're going to recognize from this, from other Star Trek shows that maybe you prefer a little bit more than this one. So it starts off with Voyager is they're tailgating a comet. They're following a comet, right? Ooh, what's on
Ice.
the comet, right? Yeah, I guess they want some ice. So they're following the comet and they decide they're gonna beam material from the comet onto the ship.
It's like us harvesting icebergs, I suppose.
So they're gonna take a piece from inside the asteroid
Right.
and beam it on
Put
board.
it in their drinks.
So who do we gotta get to do this? Science expert B'Elanna.
Right. Even though she's supposed to be their chief engineer.
Yeah, and we've seen her try to transport things into engineering and into canisters for it, and she didn't do a very good job, and it got out. So I'm wondering, they didn't show it, but it's on the bridge where you see a lot of the characters at the beginning. This is like the only time you see Tom Paris this episode.
Right.
He's just working away at the con and that.
Little keener.
Actually, no, we've been getting lately. He's been showing up late to work. He's been bad attitude, Tom Paris.
They should be.
And Chakotay, XO Chakotay has been Officer Hardass and giving him a hard time. It's like, hey, you're late again. That's the third time this week, and you just keep making excuses. Now, I'm wondering if before Janeway, who's in charge of this comet expedition for some reason, if she decides, before that, hey, before we beam anything on, anyone in the holodeck first? Okay? Harry Kim, who's, working his station there, check to see if anyone's on the holodeck before we beam anything in that could take over the holodeck, right? Because remember, you gotta have that warning sign on the holodeck.
So dangerous.
I'll bet, here's what I think would happen. Check. Oh, who's on the holodeck in the middle of the ship? It's Kes and Neelix.
Right.
It's okay, don't worry about it. Go right ahead, beam whatever.
Yeah.
In fact, just beam it right to the holodeck and we'll see what happens. It's called Death Wish.
Right, exactly. You have a death wish to go in.
Someone's got a death wish this episode. So anyway, they're like going to beam ice or something. Okay?
Yeah.
And instead what happens is a person appears in a Star Trek uniform.
That's very random.
In a Voyager uniform. And you know who it is?
Who is it?
It's not someone you recognize, but it is AQ.
Oh, Q.
Yeah, it's one of the Q continuum.
You might have seen him in that thing with the continuum.
I don't think we've seen this guy before.
Oh.
So Q shows up, but it's a different one, and he's always like,
Q.
Ooh! Like that's how he does his Q snap thing. He doesn't do the
Q. John Delancey was kind of the only Q that interacted with humans, though. I thought that was kind of his whole gig, right?
So anyway, they beam piece of this asteroid out, and it's Q. It's AQ.
Oh, so the asteroid itself was Q.
The asteroid was a prison for this Q.
Oh no, a prison for you. He must be really bad then.
So this is a Q who the continuum says has gone nuts.
Oh, great. That's never a good thing at all.
Okay. So he shows up and he just starts randomly doing stuff, causing problems and everything.
Yeah, he would.
At one point, so when he shows up, he's in the mess hall.
Yeah.
And this is where we see Kes, okay? So she wasn't on the hall deck, she was in the mess hall.
Do they know he's a Q?
Yes.
Oh,
he tells them right away, and he starts doing his little finger twirl thing and zapping everything. And what happens is he tries to, what he does, he wants to use his Q God powers, whatever they are. He wants to use these powers to kill himself, but it doesn't work. Okay?
Oh.
So instead, he tries to do it and it doesn't work. And instead, all the men on Voyager disappear.
Oh.
So it's only women.
I should just turn it into a big like lemon or something.
Okay? And every time he tries to do this, things go wrong. And Janeway gets pissed off. She's like, "Bring back my crew members."
Right.
Okay. And
Qs don't really die, sort of.
And he can't do it because his powers are all messed up.
But also, Qs sort of don't die.
And then who shows up? John Delancey.
Okay.
And John Delancey is looking trim in this one. I don't remember.
He never looks bad.
I don't remember what he looked like in the last season of TNG. Like if he had a gut or something, but he's looking trim in this one. So he shows up, he's part of the continuum, and they actually talk about like his past, because he's always messing with Picard and the crew.
At this point.
So he was always messing with them, and then he got kicked out of the continuum, and then he went back. So at this point, it's after TNG, so he's back with the continuum. Right. And so now he's brought in to deal with this other Q.
Okay.
And as soon as he comes in, he's like, "You're gonna do it." So the Death Wish Q, he's like, "No, I'm not having that." Waves his finger, and then suddenly Voyager is somewhere else. Okay, without John Delancey. Okay, where are they? They're at the Big Bang, at the creation of the universe.
I do recall that.
And they're like, "What are we doing? God, get us out of here!"
Why don't they just say, "Why don't you take us to Earth, and we'll let you take a shuttle and go kill yourself"? I don't know.
Well, that actually, you're jumping ahead to later, okay?
Okay.
So John Delancey has to bring back all the other crew because Death Wish Q can't do it, and his powers are all messed up. So and he keeps just, every time John Delancey's like, "We're going to take care of this right now," he just keeps zapping them somewhere else.
Right.
Then at one point, they're like protozoa.
Yeah.
And another point. Anyway, all these messed up things.
Sort of like everything everywhere.
So finally, they're like, okay, he's like, "Okay, none of this, because they'll go on forever."
Yeah,
and they keep doing that.
They have all the time.
So they decide, so the new Q decides he's going to ask Janeway for asylum on the ship. Okay? So he can have asylum so that he can do whatever he wants. Okay? So that the Continuum won't take him back because they want to imprison him again. Because they're like, "This guy's crazy. He wants to kill himself." Q don't do that. So this episode's a lot about suicide.
They're sort of not supposed to die. In Picard, we see Q sort of die, but does he really die? I don't know.
So what happens is Janeway has to make this decision, and either she sides with John Delancey, and then the Continuum will imprison this Q.
Right.
For eternity, right? Or, so he's really thankful to Voyager for letting him out, even though he doesn't actually thank them.
Right.
And if she sides with this new guy, he's gonna kill himself. Okay, so he's gonna commit suicide. And so what they do, why these Q agree to this? They agree to it so that if she sides with the Continuum, okay, they agree to whatever her decision is, they're gonna agree to it.
Oh, they're gonna stick to it.
They're gonna stick to it. Why would they do that? Who knows, right? So it goes all over the place there, and it's kind of a philosophical thing. I'm like, what is this? The new Orville season?
That's not fun Q episode, because you're gonna have Q. You want to have fun. Yeah, it's very good.
So they start, so they have this, not a trial, but like a hearing, So they have this, and they each got to present their case. And who does the new Q get to represent them? What? Legal expert Tuvok. They're like, "Yeah, okay. He'll bring some enjoyment to this episode." Not really, so boring. So anyway, John Delancey, he brings a bunch of guests to Voyager.
Right.
In order to prove his point that they've had good interactions with humanity.
Right.
Okay? So he brings on Sir Isaac Newton, and there's this guy in this really old-timey, like 16th century wig.
I do remember that.
Okay? And then there's some hippie who I don't really know. It has to do with Woodstock. Maury Ginsburg. Do you know who that is?
No.
Anyway, and he actually gets Maury Ginsburg to play himself there.
Ginsburg is. I'm not familiar. I mean, I wasn't alive back then, so.
Yeah. So the new Q, who calls himself Quinn, is Garrett Graham, if you know who that guy is. That's the actor who plays him. But then they bring in a ringer. Okay? Who they bring in? One of your favorite Star Trek characters. Commander Riker. Oh. Because Jonathan Frakes directs a lot of these episodes.
He does. I guess he was around.
So he's around. So he shows up in his TNG outfit.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And
he's part of the trial.
So, yeah. So he talks about it.
Get Picard.
And how, I guess Patrick Stewart was busy. He was probably making... What was he doing at this time?
I don't know.
He was probably busy making those Star Trek movies.
Nine was ready.
And... So Janeway's first taken aback. It's like, these are people from Earth. But she can't tell them anything because as soon as he zaps them away, 5 minutes later, they won't remember anything.
Oh.
So it doesn't help them at all. And as this trial's going on, then John Delancey is like, "Okay, we're going to sweeten the pot for you." Okay? He's talking to Janeway just by herself in the ready room. "We're going to sweeten the pot. Look outside there. Oh, there's Earth! There's Earth." So I don't think they're actually at Earth. He's just showing her the image of it there. It's like, "We're prepared to send you there if you side in our favor." And I'm like, well, that's an easy
He's
choice.
kind of like a fairy or a pixie Q.
Yeah.
He's not always.
But Janeway doesn't like
good.
either of these choices that she has to make.
Mm.
And in the end, and then they try to sweeten it even further, saying that they'll give her what she wants. Meaning, if she sides with them, Quinn, the new guy, will have to go back to the continuum, and they'll just keep an eye on him so he can't kill himself or anything, because it will disrupt the continuum.
It's all about that, yes.
Yeah. And Tuvok and Quinn, they have this argument where they take them to the collective, the continuum, and show them like this weird representation, which is a desert. It's like a road in the desert.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's this gas station / house, and they're all just kind of standing around, not talking to each other, not doing anything.
Right.
So it's very boring.
I think I do remember who played the Q now. The other Q.
Yeah, I'll show you a picture of him.
I do remember.
It's not up here.
What he looked. Yeah, I do recall now.
And in the end, so guess what she decides?
What?
She sides with him, so they don't get to go back to Earth. Like, what a dumb thing to do. You just side with them. What do you care about the Q continuum? All they do is cause problems.
You do.
And then they'll send you to Earth, hopefully. Unless they're lying, which they could be doing that. But at the very least, anyway, there you could have ended the show. Nope, she's got her principles, and she's got to stick to her principles. You know she didn't tell any of the crew about this, because there would have been a mutiny.
Right, well I think they would have realized that Qs could do anything for them.
Yeah, they can, but they don't actually keep their word.
No, but anyway. Okay.
Anyway, it was interesting to have the guest stars there. Riker's in it maybe for a minute or two.
Yeah.
He says a few lines,
I
and he's looking
recall.
good. Jonathan Frakes was looking good there. And John Delaney there, he's trim, right? Delancey, sorry. He's looking trim there, so he's looking good.
He looks good. He's like 80 years old.
Overall, not the greatest episode there. But, I don't know, if you enjoyed that, let us know down in the comments below. Maybe give us a like if you enjoyed this episode of Chakotay's Odyssey, featuring the adventures of Janeway. Now we got a new segment, because we finished our Into the DCEU segment for now. We got 2 more movies coming up this year, which will continue it as they come out and spoil it, but not until after it's come out for a while. But now we got a new segment, and it's called The Power of Family, starring Dominic Toretto. Do you know who Dominic Toretto is?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Vin Diesel's character in Fast and Furious franchise.
I'm not interested in it at all.
Yeah, so
Not my thing.
You didn't watch this with me,
No.
which is perfectly fine. So I watched the first Fast and the Furious movie from 2001. Never seen it before.
How many cars did they smash up?
Did they smash up a lot of cars?
They always seem to.
They smashed up a bit there.
I don't
So
like
let me
that.
tell you about this great classic story. You're going to love this, because this is...
Not really.
I mean, I watched this franchise, and so I'm watching this movie. I've only seen before. I saw Hobbs and Shaw in the theater. I saw F9 last year, because I had to watch it because of the flying car in space. And, and I saw Fast X recently when it came out. So those are the only 3 that I saw. So now I'm starting at the beginning. I'm going to watch all 11 Fast and Furious movies.
Good for you.
Starting with the first one, Fast and Furious 1, The Fellowship of the Ring. So, it starts off, and in 2001, so this movie's a little bit dated, because it starts off shipping containers at the harbor, and they load one up on a truck, and they show you what's inside. You're going to love this. It's a whole bunch of TVs, but it's 2001, so it's the old picture tube TVs, those
They're
giant
heavy.
ones that are heavy and hard to
Yeah.
move around. And then there's a whole bunch of Panasonic DVD players. We're like, yes.
I have one.
Okay. And then there's the small picture tube TVs with a built-in VCR at the bottom.
Oh, like the ones in school.
I'm like, just the small ones, right?
Yeah, we had those in school.
And there's a VCR. I'm like,
When the
oh
VCR breaks,
jeez.
like, it's no
This
good
has
anymore.
this is dated a while in the last 22 years. So it starts off, and there's a truck hijacking. Okay,
Stealing the TVs.
they steal. Yeah, they steal the truck.
Heavy.
They steal the truck full of these DVD players and picture tube TVs and
Right.
ones with the VCR in them. So there's this truck hijacking caper. for TVs and DVD players, and there's these 3 black cars. They look like zooped up Honda Civics or something, right? And they're all black, and they all look exact same, and they got like green lights on them. You know, the neon lights underneath you're not allowed to have? Well, they got it. Okay. And then these 3 cars are taking out
especially in Nova Scotia,
are hijacking this truck. And it's ridiculous. They the one guy gets out of the car who's driving in front of the truck, shoots like a grappling hook into the windshield, and then jumps across and takes out the driver. I'm like, what is this? It's crazy, right? Okay. And then it's like, okay, there's a hijacking. Now we're going to meet the characters. Because you don't see anyone. Everyone's all in black, right? Oh, okay. And they just kill the trucker. So then we're going to meet Brian, that's Paul Walker's character. Okay. Okay, so I didn't know his character's name was Brian. I've heard the name Paul Walker a lot because he's one of the stars of this franchise. Okay. Okay, and he's driving around his custom green racing car at the track.
What is that, like a Mitsubishi or something?
I didn't see. Oh. But it's got this flashy paint job and everything. Because these franchises, it's all about cars, women, guns, that action, that kind of stuff, right? So I'm watching this. I was having a fun time watching this. Okay, you missed out on this because I get this. Okay, he goes to a convenience store that's also a diner, and it looks like a complete dump. And he's asking for a sandwich there. I didn't see anyone wash their hands. This is where he first meets Mia Toretto, who's Dom's little sister. Oh, and so he's going there because he's going to hit on her, right? Oh. But the guys there, they don't like it because all these guys show up because Dom's in the back just brooding, right?
Does he make the sandwiches?
No, Mia does.
Oh, but what does he do?
He's sitting in the back brooding in his office.
Doesn't do any work. Okay.
I don't know what he's doing back there. He's back there brooding. And then all these guys show up in all their souped up cars, right? Because it's for street racing, right? So so these 4 cars come in,
Lancers
and
or something.
So his crew comes in, including Michelle Rodriguez. Yeah. What's her character's name? Letty? Okay. So she's in it since the beginning. And he orders a sandwich there, and these guys don't like it because one of the characters, Vince, is interested in Mia. So they get into a fight, and they throw Paul Walker out, and they're in a big fight and everything. And then Mia's yelling at Dom to go break it up. And he has to go break it up and just, so you get the first appearance of Dominic Toretto. He breaks up the fight and kicks out Brian from the store. Don't ever come back. Right? Okay. Guy didn't do anything wrong.
And he goes back to brooding.
But he was hitting on his sister, so he doesn't like that, right?
His sister has to make all the sandwiches and the food and wait on everybody. Well, sounds right.
Paul Walker goes back to his job at this custom car place where they get their cars zooped up, right? Okay. And he's supposed to be fired because Dom called his employer to fire him because he doesn't like this guy that much. And he's like, good help's hard to find, right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Good mechanic is hard to find.
Yeah.
You do agree with that.
But this isn't a mechanic place. This is for zooping up your cars and putting on, because Paul Walker has to buy a big thing of NOS. You got to have the NOS.
Oh yeah.
Okay, for your car. Then there's this giant street party they go to, and it's this abandoned grain silo areas, and they're having this.
This is the time of raves and stuff.
Yeah, but there's this giant street party, and there's all these cars and all these people. No one shows up to check it out. They're just having this big car, and they're showing off their cars. Right. And then they're gonna street race, right?
Right.
So Brian shows up. Paul Walker shows up with this green car, which isn't his, and he's waiting for Dom to show up. And other guys are trying to hustle him and everything. At one point, I think I saw Milton from the Suicide Squad walk by. Okay. A younger Milton. I'm like, wait a minute. And then we see this other guy, Hector. It's a completely different actor. He's trying to... Anyway, get this. Because it's 2001, you know what music they're playing in the background? Limp Bizkit. I'm like, oh,
Limp Bizkit.
That has not aged well. Whew. I haven't heard Limp
Bizkit again.
I haven't heard Limp Bizkit in over 20 years, and I didn't need to hear it in this movie.
I forget what the guy's name is from Limp
Fred Durst.
Fred Durst, yes. Everyone likes to make fun of him.
Oh, man. Limp Bizkit. Yeah. Ooh, bad music choice there. So they're showing off their cars, and then Dom and his crew shows up. So now everything can get started because Dom is the center of everything. So even back then, he's the main guy, right?
Okay.
So then they're all taking bets and talking trash because they're gonna have a big race, right?
Do they just always race, or do they like do the drag or something?
No, they. I'll get to it, okay?
Okay.
So they're gonna have. So they're gonna have a.
interesting.
But it's all wacky and over the top, and it's flashy cars, and there's beautiful women, and Michelle Rodriguez, she's dressing kind of skanky in this. She's wearing one of those see-through tops and everything. So Brian wants in, so they let him in. I don't know why. Anyway, so all the cars drive off from this place, right? Like everyone gets in their cars and like 100 or more cars drive off.
Because the cops are coming, yeah.
No, the cops aren't coming. So what they do is they drive into LA, I'm guessing it is, because it's in California.
Okay.
They drive into the city, and then all these people just block off the roads, right?
Right.
Because they're going to make a drag race, okay?
Right.
So all the drivers just block off the roads. They don't have permission to do this. They just do it, right?
You can only do that back home.
And there's only one
You
guy.
can't
And
do
there's
that in LA.
yeah, how you do that in the city?
You can do that in Cape Breton,
but there's
but you
one
can't do
guy
it
with
there.
a police scanner, and then they all got
So
radios.
the neighbors would call the cops. Like, people live there.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a Pizza Hut guy who's doing a delivery, shows up, he's like, what the hell, I gotta get through. They're like, piss off, this is our road now. Okay, so they have this giant race.
Right.
And they're just racing along, and it's really over the top. It's way over the top. But it's fun, I had a fun time with
very
it.
Illegal.
And Brian gets into this race because he bets the car, right?
Okay.
And halfway through the race, his car starts falling apart. Like a piece of the underplating falls off and goes flying, right? And
Couldn't afford screws, I guess.
anyway, he loses the race.
Okay.
Anyway, and his
So
car's
it
all
doesn't
busted
seem
up.
very interesting
So
at
he
all.
owes Dom a 10-second car. Meaning it has to make the mile in 10 seconds or something. Okay?
Gosh.
So I'm not a cars guy. Let's see. Cops show up and chase everyone. Because, of course, the cops would show up with this giant street race. And there's thousands of people that'll just show up to watch this race.
They do have... You can actually organize a race and do it at a real track.
No, they're street racing. This is how they do it. It's fast and it's furious. Remember?
Oh, gosh.
You gotta go with the title. It's in the title. So the cops scatter. Everyone scatters, but they're chasing Dom. They're going after certain people because they gotta get Dominic Toretto.
But his car is too fast.
Yeah, exactly. But his
Oh.
car is also very flashy too. So he ditches it in a parking garage and starts walking down the road. Cops find him. Now he's on foot running. Who shows up to get him? Paul Walker shows up to help him and helps him get away. Yay! So now they're good buddies. Because this is all about him trying to get in with Dom and his gang. Because we find out that Paul Walker, Brian, he's a cop. He works for the LAPD. And he's having these meetings with the FBI. And they're coordinating with the FBI to take down this gang. Because they're stealing these TVs and VCRs and DVD players.
I think they could have just done surveillance on the street and got them all. If they're all the streets are blocked off, it would be easy just to get them. Anyway.
You'd think so.
would
Throw down
think
some
so.
spike strips and have a bunch of cops, but okay.
Oh my.
Okay. So Brian helps Dom escape. And then there's an Asian motorcycle gang scene.
Are they their
And they get taken to
rivals?
this. Apparently, yeah, it's another gang because they accidentally go into their territory because they were
Well, you
running from
never
the
do
cops.
that.
And so the Asian gang surrounds them on
Right.
their motorcycles and takes them into this Chinese market area.
Okay.
And then they have this big showdown and everything.
Still sounds really boring.
Okay.
No.
Then it cuts to Dom's house because everyone's back at Dom's house and they're having a big house party. So they're the cool guys that just all they're partying and there's all kinds of
He's
people.
like the worst neighbor with loud music, loud people, loud cars.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's like next door sometimes.
In this really nice, kind of quaint family house somewhere in the middle of LA.
None of them can afford mufflers.
Yeah, no, they got Loudners on it. They can afford it. They just put the Loudners on it.
Oh gosh.
Okay? And Dom ends up fighting with Vince, the guy who got into a fight with Brian at the beginning and threw him out of the restaurant. And this is where we first see the Coronas. Dom's like, you can drink whatever you want as long as it's Corona in my house.
Okay.
Because you gotta have Corona. It's promotion. It's promo spot.
Oh.
This franchise is all about Coronas. Okay? That's the other thing.
Okay.
Cars, women, races, guns, Coronas. You gotta have Coronas. Brian and Mia Toretto, they're talking, but they don't hook up. Okay? He's still trying to win over Dom, right? He's got to win over her big brother first.
Oh yeah, that's the way that women like it.
Yep, apparently. Well, it's this really tight-knit family in LA there.
Okay.
They have a family dinner at Dom's with Brian, and at one point, you know what you see? A floppy disk. They put it into the computer to get some information.
A 5-inch?
No, the 3.5
okay.
inch. The 3.5 inch floppy disk, and I'm like,
right.
wow.
Yeah, we had those back in the day.
Yeah.
I thought it should have been a 5-inch.
No, that would have been the 80s.
I had like a special little box for mine.
Yeah, but remember, this is 2001, so they would have made this in the late 90s. So I'm like, so it's DVD players, VCRs, picture tube TVs, and floppy disks, right?
Yay.
Oh yeah, bringing back the nostalgia tech there. What else do we got here? So they have
cell phones.
Oh yeah, there's some pretty interesting cell phones. There's a fight with Brian, Mia, and Vince. Hector, the guy from the street racing, wants all these parts from the shop that Brian works at. I guess it's his cover. Why does he have to work at this shop? And he rats them out to Dom and that.
So what's the conclusion of all this? Wrap it up. What's the conclusion to this? Just sounds like some squabbles and loud things.
Well, hold on. I want to mention another thing. They keep talking about there's this race wars that's going on. I'm like, ooh, that's not a good name.
Like racing cars or like races and...
They keep saying race wars. I'm like, that doesn't sound good. That sounds like something that we shouldn't talk. It sounds like race riots.
White people?
No.
That are in there.
No. This is a very multicultural group because
Okay.
you got white people, you got Hispanics, you got black people.
Okay.
It's very multicultural.
So,
Okay. So this big race wars thing is going up, and that's what it leads up to. Is this big race thing going on at the end there? And Brian ends up having to save Vince because they're trying to hijack another truck, but it doesn't go very well. And Brian ends up hanging off the front of the truck, Indiana Jones style, and he's hanging off the side because his arm's caught in the metal cable. And only Brian can save him at these high-speed chases and everything. It's crazy.
I'm sorry, it's like a bunch of people that I would hate to live next door to that are stealing things and causing a public nuisance.
Yeah, they're not exactly, the upper class of society. And they work at their garage. They're always hanging out at their garage. And Dom lets him in and he tells him his story about his dad who died and his dad's car and everything. It's interesting. So Dom and his crew are pulling another truck hijacking and they got their 3 zooped up Honda Civics again. They're all black. Vince ends up hanging off the front of the truck, but the driver has a shotgun. And somehow they're yelling at each other during this high-speed thing, right? I'm like, how do they hear it? I can barely hear them. They wouldn't be able to do that. What we got here? Brian in his orange racing car with Mia to the rescue. He saves Vince. Brian calls in a 911 call, gives his police badge number in front of Dom. And Dom is pissed because that's when he finds out he's a cop. He's like, how dare you betray me? You've been a cop this whole time? Because he was part of the family, He's part of Dom's family.
It seems like it's celebrating criminals.
So the ambulance helicopter comes and saves Vince because otherwise Vince's going to lose his arm because he was hanging off this truck by his arm. Dom leaves and Mia goes with Dom, not with Brian. She's standing in between them at one point. She's like, oh, you betrayed me. I'm going with Dom. It's a real soap opera thing. You might like the soap opera aspect here.
I don't know.
Okay. Brian drives to Dom's place to stop him, leaving with a shotgun. Mia's there. Jesse shows up. That's like their little white kid tech guy. And he actually made a bet, and he lost during the race wars, which is just more drag racing. It's not a race riot or anything. And he loses the car, but he just drives off instead of giving him the car. Let's see what we got here. Mia's there. Okay. Then there's 2 of the Asian motorcycle gang, the Tran gang motorcycles, drive up with automatic weapons, and they're shooting their automatic weapons, and the only person they hit is Jesse. Okay? So they kill Jesse. Oh no, they killed the young guy that we loved. But they don't hit anyone else. even though they got automatic weapons. It's crazy. Brian and Dom drive after them, kill both those guys, then they race each other to the train. Oh yeah, they have another race just to see if they can beat the train that's coming up ahead.
That's always smart.
Okay, and they both beat it. Yay! Why they need to have this race?
I don't know. It sounds terrible, and it sounds like it's celebrating.
They
criminals.
both make it, but Dom crashes and flips his car. It flips over twice.
Smashes the car, of course.
There's sirens approaching, so you know they're coming. They're gonna arrest Dom. Brian gives Dom his car because he owes him a 10-second car, and Dom drives off. And they're not exactly that friendly, okay? Because he's a cop and he betrayed him. How dare he? And then it's playing the credits, and I said to just play the credits because I was listening to the music and I was writing up these notes. Then there's an end credit scene.
Oh.
And it's in Baja, Mexico. And sure, okay, sorry, I've never been to Mexico. And you just see Dom driving off, and he says his famous quote that he said earlier in the movie. You get that famous quote. Here, I'll pull it up here. What is this thing that...
Really?
Trying to... Okay. He lives his life a quarter mile at a time.
It sounds just god-awful.
But people love this.
Oh my god.
Here.
Anyway, it sounds awful. I'm glad I didn't watch it, but you made me sit through 15 minutes of talking about it.
What's wrong with that? Hold on. Get this. So this has a 55% Rotten Critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes, but a 74% audience score. So that's 3/4 of the audience liked it.
Audience, I suppose.
Yeah. But get this. So I thought to myself, I'm watching this and I'm thinking, okay, it's got this franchise has its fans because they've made 11 of these movies, right? So why did they keep making so many of them? So I'm going to look it up on... So I looked it up on Box Office Mojo, and here's what it is. This movie was made on a budget of $38 million. Worldwide, it made $207 million.
Okay, that was back in the day, though.
Yeah, in 2001. So, however you look at it, however much they spent on marketing, they made money on this movie. And if you spend $38 million and you get over $200 million back, that's a good return on investment. I'm sure they spent, anywhere from 30 to 50 million on marketing. I don't know, and I'm not looking it up. So that's a good return on investment.
Right.
So, okay, we're making a sequel. Right. So that's why we're going to get Too Fast, Too Furious next episode.
Great. I'm so looking forward to it.
I'm enjoying this series so far. I've never seen them. I know it gets really wacky because you got that Pontiac Fiero going up into space.
Me.
Hey, I didn't make you watch these.
Yeah, I'm just talking about it. It's tortured me. Anyway, okay. Are we finished? We're finished.
We're finished this segment. Okay, so thanks to anyone who watched this and gives us a thumbs up. We appreciate that. Fluffy Key'd be really happy about that.
Put her to sleep, man.
She was sleeping before this.
She's really asleep now.
So this was the first part of The Power of Family, starring Dominic Toretto. We're now going into our next segment of Tarantino Unchained.
The Tarantino 10.
Yeah. And this week, this is part 4, Kill Bill Volume 1 from 2003. I'm going to let you start out with your review of this movie. So spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen this movie that's 20 years old now.
Yeah. Well, I saw it like 20 years ago.
Well,
I think I've seen it. I saw it twice because I think I saw it shortly after that as well. It's
very female-centered.
I think...
On Rotten Tomatoes, it has an 85% certified fresh rating and an 81% audience score. And there's definitely a lot of ratings here. So, overall, looking pretty good. And it's less than 2 hours, which is what I enjoyed.
I think at the time, I liked it a lot better when I first watched it than I did now. Because I think a lot of people have copied it now.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why. At the time, it was kind of a bit groundbreaking in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it's still a beautiful film. It's really violent though, and I didn't get the whole anime thing. I don't think when I first saw it either. It's supposed to be kind of putting that in as a real film.
Yeah, what was with that animated section?
I think the whole thing is supposed to be kind of copying as if it was like an anime.
That
That's
was
what I
Oren's
get from it.
origin story, Lucy
Yeah,
Liu's character.
But I think the whole thing is similar to that with all the gushing arms and all the amputations. This movie has the most amputations of any film in history.
There's a lot of limbs being cut off by katanas.
But it's also like it is very much like a cartoon. But it's still really beautiful, and a lot of the stuff about it, especially the ending. Anyway, but it's gross as well.
It is very much made in the style of a spaghetti western. So, as we know, Quentin Tarantino loves spaghetti westerns, and so a lot of his movies, he makes them as if it's a western. Not all of them, but this one definitely.
Well, mixed with anime.
It's all those long shots
Japanese.
And stare-offs of, two warriors.
Stuff going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff.
They're they kind of have like noises for things and stuff. I don't know. It's fun. I think probably a lot of people have sort of copied it a bit now, because when I first saw it, I thought it was really different. But now I think we've seen a lot of this kind of stuff.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, but it still is good. And the acting is
great. It starts off with a fight with Uma Thurman and Vivica A. Fox.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Which is pretty good in a house, and also it turns into a knife fight. And the dialogue, there isn't that much dialogue. I don't
like fighting, but I do enjoy this.
But the dialogue is great. She's like, "Come at me, bitch." Okay? Which is exactly what they would say.
It moves. It's so fast.
And then the daughter comes in. They have to stop and hide the knives behind their backs.
Right. There's no dancing in it, but the fighting is like dancing.
Yeah, it's all choreography.
Lucy Liu, the way she walks is really fun, too. Did you notice how she walks?
Yeah, in those weird Japanese sandals.
No, but even she walks like really fast, even when she's fighting without her shoes on. And stuff.
I didn't notice.
Anyway, it's just really, it's something else. But at this point, you don't really know what the story is. You don't really get it all, because you have to watch the second part.
No. Yeah, so Bill's just in the background, who's played by David Carradine. Why would he pick David Carradine for this role?
Because he was the American guy trained in these arts.
This movie.
That's why.
He's just David Carradine is another white guy who took an Asian guy's job because he took Bruce Lee's job for Kung Fu, the TV series.
He was doing this kind of sword fighting and stuff, and that's who we found. I guess that's who we wanted to be in it. Of course, we don't look on him as favorable as we used to.
I don't think he's he's not known for being the nicest person. I don't think I want to get into David Carradine's reputation.
Like in a really bad way?
I don't know.
Yeah. Pretty sure. Unless I'm wrong.
Unless you want to look that up.
I'm pretty sure.
This movie is made as if it's in the 1960s, and it starts off with really bad video and audio, and I believe they do that on purpose. Because as we sat down to watch this, I'm like, what's going on here? What's going on? Did you scratch up your DVD? Because you actually have the physical media of this that you bought 20 years ago.
I didn't buy it.
Well, you still have it, because I didn't buy this movie. So it's made as if it's a 60s kung fu action, but it's done in the style of a spaghetti western. Because and it does have some interesting music in it. Sometimes I found the music was very out of place. Now the action in it, I did enjoy some of the action scenes, even though I'm not really a fan of this style of action. And I don't mean, having women fighters afterwards. That's great. And the dialogue he puts in it, great as well, when they're trash talking each other and everything. Some of the fights, especially near the end of this one, because it's this Blue Leaves club or something, and the fighting just goes on and on and on. Then there's more henchmen. I'm like, this has gone on way too long.
It's like an anime.
But the action is just all cuts. It's way too much cuts. And I don't like action like that.
I thought it was great. And the music is great, and I love the girl band. Okay. I think the girl band is terrific. Yeah, I can't believe you don't know what happened to David Carradine.
I'll have to look that up sometime.
He was naked and hanging and stuff like that. Yeah, I thought that's what I remembered correctly. Anyway.
Okay.
He's dead.
Sure. Uma Thurman, Lucy Liu, Vivica A. Fox, Michael Madsen, David Carradine.
They're not really in it. They're
there.
in the next one more so.
Yep.
Because that's the next phase. And I love all the Japanese guys yelling at each other, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of
hilarious.
Similar to other Tarantino movies, there's a lot of long scenes and it's all just dialogue, right?
There's a lot of yelling. You don't really all know what they're saying, but they're just yelling at each other.
With subtitles.
It's funny.
I
they
really,
get so angry.
I didn't really enjoy that myself. I didn't find that funny, but
I thought it was just they're all so angry and
yeah.
Anyway, it's just a thing. I don't know. It was really it's like a cartoon. It's like an anime cartoon. That's what I get from the whole thing, but it's a real movie. Mm-hmm. And we don't know the whole story. We'll find the rest of the story in part 2, but you know that she's getting vengeance.
And they're all part of some assassin squad, and they all got different code names. So Uma Thurman is Black Mamba, and Vivica A. Fox is Copperhead.
Oh, Copperhead.
Lucy Liu is Cottonmouth.
They're all snakes.
Daryl Hannah is Mountain Snake. Why are they all snakes?
They're just the way that they did it.
And why is Black Mamba seem to be the best one? That's the best title.
Well, you'll see more in the next part, but it's just a squad.
She gets really beaten the crap out of in this.
She does, but she's relentless because she's a mother who has been scorned.
Yeah, that's something.
Bride. She's a bridezilla.
Never mess with moms because they got all that maternal energy and they're ready to go like that.
Don't mess with brides on their wedding day. There's a reason why they're called bridezillas.
Sure. The I don't know. So I didn't really get a lot of what was going on there.
Oh.
There was some not so good things with the hospital and that, and there's some guys there who got what was coming to them. When she was comatose in the hospital, and then she wakes up and has to deal with these terrible douchebags. This one wasn't as good as other Tarantino movies for me. I mean, it's the humor that you enjoyed. There's nothing more subjective than humor. So when they're arguing back and forth in Japanese, at the restaurant there, the two guys there, and they're just going on, get this, why do I have to do it? You know, why don't you do it? I'm lazy. That didn't really work for me. So,
anyway,
this is not one of the Tarantino movies that I enjoy, although I did enjoy the action to a certain point. So I'll give it credit for that. It definitely has you can follow the action, and they really tried really hard. There's a lot of big swings here. A lot of big swings, but big misses too. It didn't quite get there. And I'm just not a fan of...
We see this kind of fighting all the time now in movies, but at this point we did not see it.
Well, yes, but when all you're doing is just cuts and shaky cam, that's not good directing or good cinematography for an action sequence. And I'm not saying that because it's Tarantino. Anyone who does that, I don't like it. I don't think that's a really good way of doing action. However, the fight with Vivica A. Fox at the beginning, that was probably my favorite of the whole thing there. And then it kind of just what's going on here? Yeah, you only get bits of information. There's flashes to different time periods, which I didn't find that confusing, but at the same time, you're kind of, what's going on here, you know? This movie's almost 2 hours, and we still don't know what's going on.
I knew what was going on. It's a bride, and she's getting her vengeance.
But there's a lot of mystery boxes.
It's not that complicated.
She's getting revenge, and they slowly give out the information, so Bill must have shot her at one point.
We see that in the very first scene.
But wouldn't she be dead? If
you're not always dead when you get shot. No.
Where did she get shot? In the head?
Yeah, she has a plate in her head. You weren't paying attention.
Yes, there was a plate, so I'm thinking he didn't...
You weren't paying attention. Well, she says it's your baby, and he misses.
No, she says it's your, and then you get shot.
Yeah, and he misses.
Is it his baby?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't remember.
You don't... We just watched it, last night.
No, I meant the second part. I meant the second part. This one was unclear to me.
Anyway, they ruined her wedding. They killed everybody. They killed her baby. She's after them. It's not that complicated. And she's like on a vengeance. She's a mom and a bride with vengeance.
Yeah.
It's not that complicated to me.
In a sense, she's like female Punisher, except
Yes.
it's with katanas instead of guns and knives.
And although there are some guns in it.
Yeah, what's
There you
with all those Yakuza and their swords? Don't they have guns?
It's because it's the style. It's supposed to be copying these movies. It's supposed to be about the swords and the... What is that thing on the end of the chain? I forgot what it's called.
I don't know. That's kind of like a mace.
Yeah, like the mace
But
thing.
I don't think it's actually
mace.
called that.
No, mace has a stick.
Yeah,
Anyway,
there's that
whatever.
Go-Go
It's,
Yubari.
Yeah.
It's one of the characters.
And,
Sophie Fatale is in it as one of the henchmen.
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, I think the story is more basic than some of his other ones, but I still think it's good.
Maybe I think what
like
turned me
too.
off of this is a very fantastical world and very stylized, as you said, and I didn't really buy into that.
Okay.
I definitely admit that it certainly has its own unique style, but some things about this, it was just off for me. It didn't quite work for me. And I've been trying to figure out what it is. Maybe it's the unrealism of this world there. I mean, I love that the fact that it focuses on all these badass female characters. That was great. And all the men in it seem to be either terrible or useless. Okay?
There's not many men in it.
Yeah.
I mean, the
And the
boss
few
guy
that we-
there, he's hard to defeat. She knocks him down like 3 or 4 times. He does keep on
Oh,
coming
that
back.
Kato wannabe?
I don't
He's
know.
wearing a Kato
They
mask.
wear masks.
And
It's,
in
it's
black, too?
stylized. It's all about, it's supposed to be it's the style.
Is it? You think
It's
that's a
supposed to be Japanese.
Bruce Lee reference? Because Bruce Lee played Kato in the Green Hornet series
No,
back
I don't
in the
think
60s.
So at all. I think it's just a whole thing with this trying to be like a cartoon in
Mhm.
real life, and it's homage to Japan in a lot of ways as well.
Yes. Okay, so do you have a favorite character from this?
I don't know. I don't have a favorite. I don't usually have favorite characters
Okay.
in movies.
I said that the fight at the beginning with Vivica Fox and Uma Thurman was the best for me. What final thoughts were? What rating would you give this?
I give this probably like a 91.
91, really? Okay, but
Because it's not my favorite because I don't like so much violence.
Yeah, and there's a lot of violence in this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's Kill Bill. It's in the title of the movie, right? There's
Yeah.
gonna be some
I don't like
violence going on
but
here.
compared to the other films, I think it's better than Jackie Brown, but I think it doesn't have the story that the other ones have.
You know, maybe it was because some of the characters were missing, like some of the actors were missing, like Sam Jackson, who pops up in a lot of Tarantino's movies. I think he's in the second one, but only in a cameo. On the internet rating system, I'm going to give this the unpopular opinion. I'm going to give this the worst movie ever, because this just didn't really work for me.
You were paying
And
attention.
I know I'm in the minority. I did have some fun with it. I remember the first time I watched it, I remember I was bored out of my mind, and I was not bored watching this. It had some slow moments in it. However, this is not one of the Tarantino movies I like, because I'm not a fan of all of his stuff. Okay? This one so far, out of the 4 that we've watched, this one's at the bottom for me.
Okay.
So far. Okay? But you enjoy it, and if other people enjoy it, don't let me take that away from you. That's just how it works for me, you know? It's art, it's very subjective. But we thank anyone who watched this video and anyone who gives us a thumbs up, a like for this. And hopefully you'll come back for more of Tarantino Unchained next week.
The Tarantino is 10.
Now we got another segment of Chakotay's Odyssey featuring the adventures of Janeway. Season 2, Episode 19. What is this one called? I should know what it's called. I just watched it. It's not Death Wish. That was the previous one. Life Signs.
Oh, so we're more positive with this title.
So...
Is this a good one? No. Don't make your face like...
It has some good things in it.
Okay.
This is a Doctor episode. This is a Robert Picardo episode.
Good. Well, that's an improvement.
So, starts off, the crew is just kind of floating along in Voyager, and they discover a ship, and there's weak life signs on board.
Oh, they have to
So there's
rescue
one female, it's a Vidian, one of those
A
phage.
Vidian.
Vidian, yeah, one of
Yeah.
those phage people. They got
Yeah.
that plague so
Yeah.
they look awful.
These people that do all the organ transplantation?
Yeah, because this plague is eating away at them. So they beam the person on there, beam her directly to sickbay. So we get Robert Picardo there.
Yeah.
With his assistant, the ever faithful Cass.
Right. Do they do any disease prevention? Can they catch that disease?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I can't remember from the last
I don't think they can.
Okay.
But, so a lot of this take place in sickbay. But there is stuff in other words. So, there's this woman there, but she has this implant in the side of her head.
Right.
And her brain activity is decreasing.
Oh.
And she's dying.
Oh.
So what the doctor does, he downloads her brain into the computer.
Oh, from this thing she has in her head.
Yeah, well, he
Okay.
hooks up a thing to it, remotely downloads it. They use the Wi-Fi or the Bluetooth, I'm guessing, the Star Trek Bluetooth. Downloads her brain, and then he creates a holographic projection of her. So he creates another holographic person, right?
Oh.
And her name is, what the hell's her name? Bar something or other.
Okay. So does
Daenerys.
she become friends with the doctor, or what does
This
she end up
is
doing?
all about the doctor helping her, and he's falling in love with her.
Okay.
So,
I
sure.
didn't think the doctor could do that with his programming.
Yeah, exactly.
He gets a disease.
And
so.
Kess is like, but aren't you programmed to adapt and progress? Yeah.
But aren't you programmed to be a complete a-hole?
He's not an a-hole. He's just
He
very
is.
egocentric. He's like,
He
yeah, I'm just doing
is.
my job. I just do it very
he has
well.
no bedside manner at
No.
all.
He has none. He is getting better at. Although at the beginning, when it's on the bridge, what do we see again? We've seen this a couple times now. Tom Paris shows up late again.
yes,
And
again.
once again, Chakotay, Officer Hardass, is giving him a hard time.
Right. Well, you can't show up late on that. I mean, you could crash the ship or something.
But he's
You don't
like
have
showing
that.
up late all
pilot.
the time. So he
Okay.
really is not enjoying himself on Voyager.
He needs to go see the doctor.
Maybe. So the doctor's trying to deal with this lady here and try to help her because he's trying to save his patient.
Okay. And
So
he's
what does he do while he's working on it? He takes her to the holodeck because she wants to get out and walk, right? She wants to
Right.
go out and do stuff. So he takes her to the holodeck because that's the only other place they get. What's going on?
Having a dream.
Okay, yeah. How do you... Oh, is she moving there?
Oh, yeah. When you were waving your hand over, I thought she was going to stop.
She's having kitty dreams there. Maybe she's dreaming of Voyager.
Maybe.
So while they're at the French bar
Yeah.
because Paris and Neelix are playing pool there.
Yeah.
And so they're chatting and they're getting to know each other. And they're talking, oh, what's that? That's dancing. Do you know how to do that? No, I'm not programmed to. Sure. And then she gives him a name. Because remember, he had that other name,
Yeah.
Schweitzer,
I
his
don't
German
remember what it
name.
was, yeah.
So she gives him another name, Schmuler. Okay, what's with the German names?
He doesn't look like a schmoozer.
Okay,
Anyway.
Dr. Schmuler. So, and then it cuts back to more Tom Paris Chakotay drama because this is a side story.
Oh, okay.
And he shows up late again.
Right.
And what happens is him and Chakotay get into a big argument on the bridge, right?
Oh.
And Paris gets dismissed because Paris didn't show up for his shift on time. He showed up
Yeah.
10 minutes late. Chakotay called in someone else. He's like, he's got your shift. Get out of here.
Huh.
So, okay, he doesn't have to work, right? He's all pissed off about that. And Chakotay's
He's
like,
a
yeah, just
vacation.
like puts his hand on his shoulder. He's like, yeah, you just go and rest and everything. And Paris freaks out and just pushes him and throws him to the ground.
Oh,
Throws
that was
Chakotay to the
overaction.
ground. And next thing you know,
It's in the break.
Tuvok takes him to the brig.
Yeah.
Okay?
Supposed
Can't
to.
do that. But he gets let out. Okay?
Okay.
And the doctor starts having feelings for Denara there.
Okay.
And so who does he go to for advice? Love expert Tom Paris.
Okay. Who's in the break at this point or out?
No, he talks to him about it. I think they talk on the holodeck, right?
Oh, okay.
And then he takes his advice and he sets up a date with Daenerys on the holodeck.
Dying woman.
Well, he's gonna save her, right?
Okay.
So they're in the holodeck. They're on Mars and they're in a '57 Chevy convertible with the top down. They're essentially at
Gosh,
Mars
so
makeout point. Okay? That's where he takes her. So they can sit in the car. It's called parking. And they can just make out.
Okay.
There you go. Because he tried telling her that he has feelings for her. But he does it while he's working over top of her body. And Kess is there. And he's like, so I feel that I have romantic feelings for you. What do you think? And Kess is just like, what the... She stays, obviously, because she's nosy. And the lady, she's just like, no, let's just be professional. Because she's taken aback. But she does like him.
Okay.
So they go on dates and that. And in the end, she convinces him to, that it's essentially euthanasia. This is another suicide episode. She doesn't want to live with this phage. Because they're heading towards one of their colonies and they're going to drop her off. Right. Meanwhile, Ensign Michael Jonas, who's the spy
guy,
on Voyager, he's talking to the Kazon.
Yeah.
And who makes an appearance? Seska. Okay. He gets to talk to Seska. She's only
really excited about it, but I didn't really care for her character, I think. I don't know.
She's way more interesting. Or she's not that interesting. They're setting up a surprise attack for Voyager.
Okay.
And they want this spy to sabotage the warp core. And he's like, I ain't doing that. I'll feed you information, but I ain't doing that. I don't know what this guy's goal is.
Yeah, I mean... anyway.
No. So we get another name. And what happens is he does save her. He saves her body. And saves her brain function, but she has to go back into her body that's, deteriorating.
Yeah.
Because their whole people are, even though they got advanced technology, they're all falling apart and they're all dying.
Falling off and stuff.
And she has to go back into it. So then they go on another date in the holodeck. She walks in, it's all dark, in the shadow at the door, and then she walks in, you see that she's back to her wearing all those prosthetics and everything.
Okay.
And they have a dance and end of episode. And I'm like, that's it? What happens? I guess they just drop her off and then we never hear from her again.
Okay.
Because they're in love and so they get to spend another 2 weeks together until they get to this colony.
It's weird. That's too much advance for the Doctor. Like all of a sudden, I don't know. It's just weird.
It was just so that Robert Picardo could get another episode dedicated to himself.
I guess, but I don't think it was very good writing. No. That sounds of it.
That was another episode of Chakotay's Odyssey, featuring the adventures of Janeway. Christine, time we gotta sign off here now. Would you like to quickly go through our social media contact information?
Okay.
Please. It's down in the description below, but Christine's going to help you out now.
Yeah. If you want to contact us, you can email us, CanadaMovieTVHosers@gmail.com. You can submit topics, news, anything that you want to talk about, anything we talked about on this show. If you want to say if you liked it or you didn't or whatever. You can find us on X.
Twitter.
It's not called
It just has an X. It's still called Twitter.
It's called X, I think.
Yep.
Canada Hosers. And you can find Gregory, whatever it's called, at St. John's Critic.
Also on Instagram.
On Instagram, yep, that hasn't changed name. And you can use the hashtag Canada Hosers to contact the show. And yeah, I'm going to be gone for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, Christine's going to be gone, so it's just going to be Fluffy Kitty and myself here holding down the fort. So it's probably going to be shorter episodes, but we're going to do what we can. We're not going to be doing our segments, which is our Voyager segments, our Chakotay's Odyssey. We're gonna keep doing it, but we're just taking a break, and then we'll also have to take a break from our Tarantino Unchained.
Right. The Tarantino 10.
And also we have to take a break from our new segment, The Power of Family,
right,
starring Dominic Toretto.
You can do that one without me.
No, it's the whole point of this is I gotta convince you to watch these Fast and Furious movies. I had a hilarious time watching that first one.
Well, when I'm away, I'm planning on watching Is It Cake Season 2, and I have to finish The Lincoln Lawyer because those new episodes just dropped.
We got some comments. So, our Saw X trailer, which I posted, that's
scary.
Our review of that trailer, which I posted last weekend, but still part of this episode. Tom Spencer replied to it and said, so thanks for the comment, boy. He said, to be honest, I'll wait until it's on streaming. The Saw franchise is getting out of hand with all the many, many sequels. LOL.
This is the 10th
I stopped watching all the way back with Saw 3. Well, thanks for the comment, buddy.
Pretty good.
Well, if this
Good
is
job.
number 10 and you watched 3 of them, he's watched
That's
more
a
than
lot.
me.
Me too.
I might have to go see this, and I've only seen, I think, one of them. And it wasn't the
You're
first.
gonna have nightmares.
Well, I saw a Jigsaw movie, and it was just
Disturbing.
kind of
It's gonna
like,
be
what is
disturbing.
this? Okay. Anyway, thanks for that comment. Then we got another comment on that same video, the Saw X trailer. Sophie Cooper 18 replied, "I'm very excited." So she's looking forward to
She's
this
into that
one.
kind of
You
stuff.
know what? People always show up for good horror,
Right.
and women just a little bit more than men usually go to horror movies over men. It's usually like 60-40, just a little bit more
The horror
women.
of Dolores Roach was enough for me.
So, Sophie Cooper 18, thanks for your comment, and I hope it's good. I hope it's, especially if I go see it, I don't want to have to sit through some. So, I got into a little bit of a conversation with this guy, Cliff Coulter 9161, and this was on our finale spoiler review of Secret Invasion that we did last week, episode 6. And get this. So I said, what are your thoughts on the... Where's it? What are your thoughts on the Margot Secret Invasion series? And Cliff replied, okay,
He didn't
and
like
worst, this cost $212 million US.
That's what he said? Wow.
Okay. I know it cost a lot of money. I don't know the
Big
exact
actors
amount,
in
but
it.
okay. Yeah, well, they had to reshoot this a lot.
Why did they have to?
Apparently, it
reshoot
was worse.
Oh my gosh.
So they had to reshoot
Maybe
like
that's
40.
why some of it didn't make much sense with his wife and
They
everything.
had to reshoot like 40% of this, and that's cost
Some
a lot
of
of
it
money.
Didn't make sense, and maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Didn't really. It wasn't very consistent.
Anyway, he said that, and then he was replying to me. Okay, those catering costs Disney blamed overruns on Indiana Jones on catering at a shareholders meeting must have been huge because they definitely didn't spend it on sets or set pieces. He's right there. Well, hopefully Nick Fury cashed in, considering that this show is such an embarrassment that it could ruin his career. I don't think that Disney's cashing in on this series. Well, it goes on. The final episode of this disaster got an 8% for that final episode Rotten Tomatoes score. Episode 1, 52%.
Well,
Episode
we were
2,
hoping it was going to be okay.
Episode 2, 50%. Episode 3, 38. Episode 4, 38. Episode 5,
started
50.
to not make sense.
Oh, man. Yeah, that was really bad.
It started to have like inconsistencies and weird things.
If they blamed it on catering costs, yeah, I was talking to him about that for
Lobster
Indy 5.
every
I
night?
said, what were they eating? Lobster and steak every day on the set of Indy 5?
No, you have to eat some
I think
truffles,
I think it's... I don't know what
caviar.
the reason why Indy 5 had such balloon costs. Probably because it was filmed during the pandemic and all those protocols there. Plus, I mean, you got to get Harrison Ford. But all that
They
de-aging,
were in different places.
that first 20
as well.
minutes of Indy 5 is all in the past.
What does
And
that
all
have
that...
to do with
all
Secret
that
Invasion, though?
This is the conversation I had with him. We were talking
Oh.
about ballooning costs. And so, anyway, getting back to it. Secret Invasion. Thanks, Cliff Coulter. You're absolutely right. This show,
Wasn't
I
very
didn't
good.
enjoy it. Okay? Didn't sound like you did
We
either.
thought it was going to be good. We tried hard to
Yeah.
get into it, and it was just inconsistent, and things didn't make sense a lot, and it was no good.
Anyway, I agree with you, buddy. I think they should, as I said in previous episode, I think they should just bury it and not let anyone see it. Because this is kind of an embarrassment for them.
It started off okay.
I mean, what does Disney have to gain by releasing this onto Disney Plus? Are they getting lots of
Well,
subscribers for this garbage? I
They're
don't think so.
advertising, and people don't know that it's not very good.
Yeah,
I don't know.
and they shouldn't advertise
I
it
don't work there. I don't know.
because if people actually listen to the advertising and go check it out, they're not going to be happy that they checked it out because it's not good.
No.
But that's just our opinion. If you have a different opinion on Secret Invasion, let us know down in the comments below. We heard from some
Maybe
people
they
that liked it.
didn't feed them very much. I mean, poor Amelia Clark looked like someone needs to give her a sandwich, for God's sakes.
Yeah, she was really tiny. But anyway, Cliff Coulter, 9161, thanks again for your message, and to everyone else. You can always leave us a message or get in touch with us on our social medias, which Christine ran out, and it's all down in the description below. So from all three of us, including Sleepy Kitty
Oh,
here,
you woke her up.
take care, everyone.
Bye.